All right, I think we should be live. Yeah, don't need to select end broadcast there. So as always, let me make sure audio and chat are working before we get rolling, so to speak. Oop, that is a little loud. All right, we are rocking and rolling for part 2 of Orioles Blue Jays, 2 weeks in a row here. This time it is in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Blue Jays, for some reason, heavily favored. I'm not really sure why. According to ESPN, they have them at 63% win chance. Despite these teams having the exact same record, and the O's coming off of, since last Friday, last time I streamed, the Orioles are 4-1, whereas the Blue Jays are 1-4. Actually, they might be 1 and. Wait, hang on. Math in my head. Yeah, no, Blue Jays are 1-4. As the Orioles would take Saturday and Sunday of that 4-game stretch after losing Thursday and Friday. O's then won 2 of 3 against Boston on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's Masson's given the whole recap of Jeff Hoffman from Saturday, as well as been blowing a kiss the year before. That's fantastic. But anyway, the Orioles won 2 or 3 against Boston, winning Tuesday and Thursday, losing Wednesday. The Blue Jays, in the meantime, lost, obviously, Saturday, Sunday. They're showing highlights of that Saturday game. And then also they lost 2 of 3 against the Atlanta Braves. I guess must have been Tuesday, Wednesday. I think they lost. And then Thursday, they won. So the Blue Jays are coming off of a win against one of the best teams in baseball, the Atlanta Braves, but coming off of 2 straight losses against the Orioles back last weekend. Taylor Ward, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Pete Alonso, Samuel Basayo, Kobe Mayo, Colton Cowser, Leody Taveras, and Jackson Holliday are the batters here for Baltimore. So pretty nice lineup there. Do love that lineup. They'll be going up against Trey Savage, who only allowed 1 run last time he was up against Baltimore back on Saturday. However, I think threw 8 walks. His command was awful on Saturday. There's first pitch, fastball well up and away to Taylor Ward. Nowhere close. But the young star rookie for Toronto in the pitching department, who made a name for himself in last year's postseason, hasn't had a good season overall so far this season, as Ward will knock this one over to third base, fielded there by the third baseman, whatever his name is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should know this. Cosmo Okamoto. There we go. So 2 pitches, 1 out for Savage here in the top of the first. Orioles usually pretty good at putting guys on in the first inning, not necessarily getting them in, though that certainly is not the case yesterday. When they faced Brian Bayo, who's been historically awful through the first inning. The O's put up 5 against him, or no, it was 6 against him in the first. There's strike 1 to Gunnar Henderson on a fastball from Savage. But the O's do tend to usually leave guys on base a lot in the first. Gunnar Henderson check swing fouls that fastball, so it's a quick 0-2. Looks like the roof is open in Rogers Center as well for this Friday evening game. O's 9-4 in their last 13 games, 5.6 runs per game, starter ERA 2.61. So they've been on a bit of a roll here, as Henderson will swing through a splitter there for strike 3. So Savage, 3 pitches, really, 4-seamer, splitter, and slider. Gets Gunnar Henderson on a couple fastballs and the splitter at the end. Just kind of drops to the bottom of the zone. Good pitch there from Savage. Does not throw the slider a lot to lefties. Throws the splitter a lot to lefties, not so much to righties there. But yeah, just 3-pitch mix. Throws all of them very well. Rutschman fouls off fastball for strike 1. The command early on for Savage here in the first inning is looking a lot sharper than it was last Friday. So will be George Springer, Nathan Lucas, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up to bat for the Blue Jays at the bottom of the first as Rutschman swings through a splitter there for strike 2. Rutschman, the switch hitter, is batting lefty. So another 0-2 hole here for an Orioles hitter. Just 7 pitches now for Yasevich here in the top of the first. Rutschman having a nice bounce-back season after an injury-riddled one last year and just a down year overall. The 0-2 here, though, is a splitter in the dirt for ball 1. First ball taken, I believe, actually. Or no, sorry, second ball taken by anyone on the Orioles. The first pitch was a ball to Ward, but that one was well in the dirt. Rutschman with a 15-game on-base streak. 371 on-base percentage over that span, according to Masson, as Rutschman will take outside with a splitter for ball 2. Should Rutschman reach, it would be Pete Alonso, who had that walk-off hit against the Blue Jays back on Saturday. Kevin, as always, welcome. It's been a good week for the Orioles overall after that heartbreaker last week on Saturdays. Rutschman knocks this one high in the air, deep to center field. That will get out of there for a home run. Welcome, Kevin. Adley Rutschman puts the Orioles up 1-0 on a home run to right center field. I think they're checking to see if this is a double. This is either a double or a home run for Rutschman. Either way, this is a base runner, first base runner of the game. The umpires are conferencing. It hit off the wall in deep right center. Not sure how high this is going to be. It looked like a homer initially. Bounced back into the field of play. So we shall see. This was... It looked like it bounced off the top of the wall. It is, in fact, a home run. Kevin, that is a good choice for getting the Adler home jersey today. As he, in his first at-bat, knocks a homer, makes it 1-0 for the O's. His 8th of the season. So good choice there, Kevin, as the Orioles quickly go up 1-0 here with a homer in the first. Brings up Pete Alonso, who will, in fact, bat here. So Rutsch, who had been... The homers hadn't been coming a ton this season. I mean, I feel like it'd been a little bit, but yeah, definitely a home run. It kind of got knocked back into the field of play because of the fence that was up there. But that is for sure a home run. So it will be Pete Alonso up to bat, who again had that game winner back on Saturday, not Friday. Saturday, the walk-off. Yeah, the O's have definitely had a lot of those close ones, but certainly we'll take the close homers compared to not. Either way, it is a nice little bit of hitting there for Rutschman. Alonso on the first pitch will chop the first pitch foul, as I repeat myself a couple times there, but first pitch chop there for Alonso, 0-1. It's got a bit of a goatee this time around, interestingly enough. Not sure if that... I don't know if that really works for Alonso, not going to lie. But I guess he's going with it. Takes ball 1 on a slider outside. Righty on righty matchup here. So Adley gets a homer from the left side there. Alonso on an 8-game hitting streak as well, hitting .333 average. Takes upstairs for ball 2. Overall, Alonso hitting .246 on the season, but he's definitely hitting a lot better as of late. Again, the slow start for really everyone on the Orioles has been mitigated basically outside of Tyler O'Neill. Alonso popped this pitch up in the air. Fastball up over to shallow right field, just behind the dirt. That'll be the second baseman, Ernie Clement, right? Yeah, Ernie Clement with the out there. So 1 over the minimum for Trey Yasevich in the first inning, but that one was a solo shot for Rutschman. Yes, I certainly agree. Kevin, Trey Yasevich is a good pitcher, though Adley got him there in the first. So the Orioles are going to be trotting out Brandon Young, who's been having a pretty nice season overall for the Orioles this year. 4-seamer, splitter, slider, sinker, and curveball. So pretty standard mix of pitches. Good difference as well. Throws the 4-seamer a lot to both sides. Got some pretty good velo on there as well. Can get it, up into the mid 90s usually. The slider and sinker are more of a righty, uses it against righties, whereas the splitter and curve more against lefties. So this is a Blue Jays lineup that has not exactly been fantastic outside of a few players. George Springer has not been good this season all that much. Overall, obviously hitting just 206. Nathan Lucas hasn't played, a full season, I think. He's been, I think, more of a rotational guy. But he's hitting well, obviously 329. Vlad Guerrero is the interesting one, where I'm working on a summary video for each team. That's I gotta start editing it tonight. I recorded it yesterday, so it's been a lot of this is on my mind. But Guerrero's really not having a typical Vlad Guerrero season where he's not hitting for a ton of power overall, but he's getting on base very, very well. He's hitting the ball on the ground a lot more. And it's still translating into hits. It's just not been like the homers aren't quite there. I think he only has like 3 or 4 on the season. Yeah, that's rough there, Kevin. Savage has been overall pretty good. One of the better pitchers in the American League. But Brandon Young's also not been too bad either. I mean, a 3.35 ERA, but he's, I think, pitched better than that. Just had a couple starts that are a bit rocky, but overall he's been pitching pretty good, and a really nice presence here in that bottom part of the lineup. Is there strike one on a sinker at the bottom of the zone to George Springer. But it's just been nice overall for Brandon Young to slot in with the injuries to Zach Eflin and Dean Kramer to have someone kind of anchor down the bottom of the lineup. Next pitch is in there, strike. Oh, called a ball at the top of the zone. No challenge from Adley. That was well within the strike zone, though, on another sinker. But he is Young, who did not have a good season last year at all, for sure. This one is knocked over into right field. That will be down for a base hit off the back of the wall. This will be a double for George Clement. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. George Springer with a leadoff double. Hard liner into right field. But, I mean, obviously this could change with today. Young could have a stinker of an outing. But Young last year did not have a good season at all. He had the near perfect game in Houston. Then he got injured after that. But before that, it was pretty much all bad. This year has been much different. Young has been much, much better, though leadoff double certainly does not help. Orioles do struggle a lot with shutdown innings. Obviously, this is only the first inning, and we still have a long way to go, but still, that's not ideal, as Nathan Lucas will pop the first pitch up on a fastball behind home plate. That will get out of play for strike one. But again, Nathan Lucas hitting .329, just 1 home run, 11 RBIs, 818 OPS. Not had a ton of at-bats this season. Let's see, game log. I don't know if he was injured or not. He might have had a stint on the injury report. I think that's what it was, because he didn't play for most of May. He was out for most of May. Should be strike 2. Instead, it's ball 1 on a curveball that clipped the outside part of the zone. So a couple of these close pitches have not gone Brandon Young's way. Yeah, it was. I don't know if you picked up Savage last week, Kevin, but he had, I think, 8 walks last week against the O's. There's ball 2 on a splitter. That one was a little high. I will concede that one there. So 2-1 to Lucas, who has, again, been hitting well as of late since his return from, I assume, the injured list. That's what I'm going to guess is for the gap there. But after that, it will be Vlad Guerrero Jr., then Dalton Varsho, unless we have some kind of double play here. As Lucas pops this one up behind home plate again. Adley will watch it go again for strike 2. So Young looking for his first strikeout of the game. I think he had a new career high in strikeouts last time he was up. I think he had 7 or something like that on, I think it was Saturday. I assume it was Saturday. I feel like that was the thing that happened. I don't remember exactly, but I feel like that was it. Anyway, 2-2 to the lefty Nathan Lucas from Brandon Young is chopped over to first base. Pete Alonso fields it, tosses it over to Brandon Young for the out. Does advance George Springer over to third base with 1 out, but still an out nonetheless. So better than nothing, or better than a hit, I should say. But a productive out for Nathan Lucas, as he just kind of able to get a little bit of either that changeup or sinker off at the end of the plate and just kind of gets the bat around. Brings up Vlad Guerrero Jr., who again, the power has not been there, only 3 home runs, but 24 RBIs, 782 OPS, 300 batting average on the dot, hitting a lot of ground balls, but getting on base. Obviously had that game-winning 2-run double against the Orioles back on Friday. Saturday was, in fact, a roller coaster, Kevin. I certainly agree. I was not confident at all in the Orioles there. Guerrero on the first pitch fouls a sinker away by his feet, 0-1. Yeah, I was at work watching that game, and I was just kind of, I was ready to turn it off by the 9th inning, but I was like, I'll keep it on. I'll keep it on a little bit, and then the rally happened, and I was very happy, especially against Jeff Hoffman too. That was like the best part about it. So on the 0-1 to Guerrero, he will knock this high in the air, center field. That will be well deep enough to tie the game. So it is a sac fly for Vlad Guerrero Jr. Leody Taveras makes the out. We are tied 1 apiece after the leadoff double. So a couple productive outs there for the Blue Jays. Gets George Springer around and home to tie the game up. 2 out, nobody on, 1-1. Brings up Dalton Varsho, who's been not too bad this season. Hitting .257. The on-base percentage, not too bad, .332, but not great. It's, again, the Blue Jays lineup has been a little odd this time around. Definitely a little disappointing. Obviously, the injuries don't help. No Alejandro Kirk, no Anthony Santander. There's ball one on a curveball to Varsho, just a bit low. But Varsho has 5 home runs, 13 doubles, which is nice. 2 triples as well. But yeah, it's not bad for Varsho as he swings through a sinker there for strike 1. So 17 total RBIs for Varsho as well. But I also have no Lenine Sosa or Addison Barger as well. So a lot of the guys that you like normal contributors to the Blue Jays lineup are not in here for extended periods of time. Varsho fouled off a sinker there for strike 2, so it's 1-2. And I mean, the Blue Jays also, like, injury-wise for the pitching front, they had a lot. I mean, they've had Jose Barrios, Shane Bieber, Dylan Cease, and Max Scherzer all on the injured list for their starters. That certainly doesn't help either. So there is a curveball slider actually in the dirt for ball 2. Yeah, Santander was definitely, I mean, I think he's only played in 52 games so far as a Blue Jay over his 2 years under the contract. He's definitely not been great for them, but I'm okay with them letting go. I mean, I love Anthony Santander. He was great. Varsho's going to ground this one over to Jackson Holliday at second. Throws him out at first. Nearly kind of threw it away, but luckily Alonso's been doing well enough. So Brandon Young does give up the run off the leadoff double, but nothing more. So we are tied 1 apiece, each team with 1 hit. But yeah, so Anthony Santander, I'll always love him. He's great, absolutely fantastic Oriole. I was okay with letting him go. I mean, he played well in that year in 2024, but I was okay with getting younger in the outfield. Obviously, there's some guys, like Heston Kjerstad, and I think even I guess at that point Kyle Stowers had been traded, but there's some guys in the outfield that you might have wanted to see a bit more development out of, and like Santander certainly wasn't getting any younger, so I was okay enough with letting him go. It's just unfortunate that he's dealing with injuries. I'd rather him just underperform for the Blue Jays than be injured, because then I can wouldn't have to. I want to see Tony Taters play. It's always fun seeing him on the field, even if it does have to be in a Blue Jays uniform. So yeah, well, it should be Samuel Basayo, Kobe Mayo, and Colton Cowser up to bat in the top of the second against Trey Savage. And Basayo's having a nice stretch as of late as well. Kobe Mayo especially has been having a good bit of work here. Had a 3-run double in the top of the first yesterday against Boston. Colton Cowser obviously had those couple of walk-offs. He's been hitting better as of late too. Really just pretty much been everyone outside of really Gunnar Henderson and Tyler O'Neill that's been hitting better. After that, it's Leody Taveras and then Jackson Holliday. Holliday's been having a nice bit of work since coming off the injured list, returning to action. Leody Taveras has also been a nice find for the Orioles, especially offensively. It's been really good at bunting the ball. So we'll see. Chris Bassett got a nice welcome back from the Blue Jays. He pitched there for a while. Don't think he's pitching in this series, though. So Sayo on the first pitch will swing over a slider for strike one. Yeah, no, I agree, Kevin. Seeing the guys that you're, who went through the bad times, like it was the outfield trio of Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander. Like they had him for 2023, but it was kind of, you had to see him go. There was ball one to Basayo upstairs with a fastball. So it's like you want to keep him around because they'd been through everything and they're still could hit and all that, but it got to the point where, like, if you kept them around, it's like, what were you going to do with Colton Cowser? Basayo's going to chop this one over to Okamoto at third. Might actually be Andres Jimenez at short, but no, that was Okamoto, so he throws out Basayo at first. But yeah, no, it's like with the logjam in the outfield that they kind of had is like, Colton Cowser is coming up, Heston Kjerstad as well. Then you got other guys in other positions as well. So it's just kind of tough to do. And that's just kind of how sports works. Sometimes you gotta see the veterans off as best you can. Kobe Mayo takes inside for ball one on a fastball. And it's just, I'll never say a bad thing about Mullins, Santander, Hayes. Yeah. I think that Hayes trade is Kobe Mayo is going to take strike one on a slider. That the Hayes trade was kind of like the first sign of things where, like, it was a new transition to what the Orioles are right now, where the old guard were starting to get shipped off. And at that point, it was kind of time for Austin Hayes. He was kind of, I was okay with trading away. He was okay at that point. Mayo swings through a slider there for strike two also, so it's 1-2. But I mean, it still sucked to see him go because he was a fun guy and someone who had been with the Orioles for a while. But I wasn't too sad to see him go, production wise at least. But again, still, like, as a person and like as an Oriole, it was always unfortunate. So anyway, Kobe Mayo on the 1-2 here will chop this one over to Okamoto at third. He's going to throw it and just barely get Kobe Mayo out. Good long-ranging throw. A couple of ground outs here to third to start the second. So there's 2 down, nobody on for Colton Cowser. And this is, I think they're just showing the replay here, but I think Mayo was out just by a hair. Not much, but just a little bit. Mayo, I wouldn't say he's the fastest guy in the world. Recently engaged Kobe Mayo as well, so congratulations to him. So Colton Cowser up on the first pitch. He will look at ball one on a splitter below the zone. Thank you all who are in attendance at the moment for this stream. Love you guys. Especially you, Kevin, as you love to comment. It's always fun talking with you. 1-0 to Cowser is below the zone with a slider for ball two. Slider not pitch. Savage usually throws to lefties there, interestingly enough, but throws it nonetheless. No changeup, luckily, for Colton in Savage's arsenal. So the pitch Colton hates is not there. There's ball three on a slider in the dirt. So a 3-0 count here for Colton. The lefty is having a little bit more success so far against Savage in the sense that Adley's had a homer and Colton's in a 3-0 count at the moment. Showing some O's fans, I think, over in the hotel that's right next to, or kind of built into Rogers Center. Someone's holding a cow for Colton Cowser. Cowser will swing on a 3-0, ground it over to Ernie Clement at shortstop. Or sorry, not Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez at shortstop. He's going to throw him out at first, so maybe not the wisest decision there for Colton Cowser. So Orioles go down in order. 1, 2, 3 will be Leody Taveras and Jackson Holliday up to bat in the top of the third. For now, though, it will be Ernie Clement, Jesus Sanchez, and Kazuma Okamoto to bat for the Blue Jays. Okamoto had that 2-run home run back on Friday last week. That was part of that 6-run rally for the Blue Jays. Luckily, there's no Chase McAdoo this time around, at least so far in the order, who also had that homer as well that kind of started everything. And his name was Chase McAdoo, right? Hang on. Charles McAdoo. Never mind. I knew it was being on the CH. So anyway, let's go check elsewhere in Major League Baseball. There should be a couple games that have started as well. Yankees already up 1-0 over the Red Sox, which sucks. Ben Rice homered. Yankees actually big news there on their front, as Aaron Judge is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, or like 4 to 6 weeks with an injury. So we'll see how they're able to respond with that. Obviously, Ben Rice has been having actually even better season than Aaron Judge has. But it was really Ben Rice, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger were the 3 consistent guys on that offense. Outside of that was not much. So we'll see how the Yankees are able to respond. And if they can kind of keep things up, because right now, even with the big lead that the Yankees and the Jays, or not the Jays, the Rays have over the rest of their division, with the Orioles and Blue Jays, I think both 8 games back from the division lead. The Rays are really struggling as of late. They just got swept at home by the Tigers of all teams. And obviously the Rays got swept by the Orioles a couple weeks ago. So, and with the Yankees with Aaron Judge's injury, who knows how this can go. There's still plenty of season left to go as Ernie Clement swings under a sinker that was above the zone for strike 1. Elsewhere, the Phillies are up 3-2 over the White Sox. The Mariners up 1-0 over the Tigers. Rays up 3-0 over the Marlins. Pirates and Braves scoreless in the bottom of the first. And then earlier today, the Giants won 18-3 over the Cubs. That's a crazy score right there. Ball 1 on a curveball outside to Ernie Clement, who's hitting .308. He's having a nice season for the Jays. One of their better hitters so far on the season. The power isn't quite there. Only have 5 home runs, but the on-base percentage is pretty good. Or I should say the on-base percentage is not bad, but the batting average is good. Ball 2 as well on a slider outside. So it's a 2-1 count for Ernie Clement. Blue Jays got a leadoff double the first time up in the bottom of the first. We're able to drive George Springer around eventually, who had that leadoff double, as Clement swings late on a fastball for strike 2. For any of those who are tuning in to the first time, just for reference, why I'm using the box score is that my cable provider is Xfinity. They always have a delay on live events. As Clement's going to knock this one high into the air center field, but well within the park for Leo Taveras to make the out. But yeah, I have Xfinity as my cable provider. They always put a delay on their live events, usually like a minute or 2. It's like a decent delay, which is kind of frustrating. So I'm using the box score because it tends to spoil things the least out of anything, because I'm trying to use my own play-by-play skills on the TV broadcast, since that is the easiest to actually watch. And so 1 out here for Brandon Young in the bottom of the second. Jesus Sanchez will pop the first pitch up into shallow right field. Jackson Holliday ranging back. Colton Cowser comes on and makes the catch at the end. Not very pretty, but in there in the end. Maybe a slight miscommunication. Jackson Holliday didn't quite look like he might have seen it all that well, but Colton Cowser was luckily there to back him up and make out number 2. So that was not pretty at all, almost disaster, but luckily Cowser was there, able to track it down in the end, make the basket catch. So out number 2, that's all that matters. First pitch to Kazuma Okamoto is strike 1, brought over from Japan. Hit 13 home runs on the season already for the Blue Jays. Just a .225 batting average, though, so there's not too much outside of those homers. The 0-1 to Okamoto is called strike 2 on a curveball, clips the outside part of the zone there. So Young actually gets a close pitch this time around, which is nice. Did not have a couple of those in the first inning. So Okamoto in a quick 0-2 hole in a so far quick inning for Brandon Young. There's a slider away for ball 1. I think it's Ben Wagner and Ryan Ripken in the booth for Masson tonight. With since Kevin Brown and Ben McDonald both also work for ESPN, and they do college baseball stuff, both men's and, or I guess also college softball. I know Kevin Brown does a lot of college softball stuff. So I think that's like the World Series there for those guys, as Okamoto slaps this one over into left for a single. So I kind of unfortunately willed that into existence there. Okamoto with a decently hard single there over Gunnar Henderson's head. So a 2-out base runner for the Blue Jays. Brings up Andres Jimenez. It's like, yeah, just a hanging slider there. So Young a bit lucky that is only a single. That was just a hanging slider right in the middle of the plate. Andres Gimenez, batting average certainly not there, nor is the on-base percentage. 211 batting average, 257 on-base percentage, 347 slug. Not good stats at all, as he will foul the first pitch back on a fastball 0-1. But it's a new game. So it's, anything could happen. But he's not even really been a whole, down with injury either all that much. He's one of the top hitters in terms of plate appearances for the Blue Jays. Takes inside for ball one on a fastball. Just has not been his season right now, has it, for Andres Gimenez. Had a really bad month of May from the looks of it. I'm looking at it. Hit 153 in the month of May with 3 home runs. We'll knock this one over the head of Jackson Holliday. So I should really just stop talking completely at these guys, because back-to-back hits for Okamoto and Gimenez. Back-to-back singles. Okamoto races over to third. Just right over the head of Jackson Holliday. So yeah, this Blue Jays lineup, they're hitting like gods. That's what they're doing. Looks like that might have been a hanging splitter or a hanging sinker there. Gimenez able to get that one. So not exactly the hardest pitch in the world to hit. So I will stop talking completely. Brings up the 9-hitter Brandon Valenzuela with 2 out, 2 on. And so Valenzuela, who's, again, playing a whole lot more regularly with Alejandro Kirk injured. There's a curveball for strike 1. Just falls in there. No swing. Hitting 231. Does have 5 home runs. Only 3 doubles at the moment. Let's hope that does not increase. But the everyday catcher with Alejandro Kirk injured, we had a steal attempt, strike on the fastball, and that is a throw out from Adley Rutschman from behind home plate. Adley, who's having an absolutely stellar defensive season, gets Andres Gimenez on the pickoff attempt there. So the Blue Jays strand 2 with a perfect throw from Rutschman to Henderson. Gets Gimenez easily out on this steal attempt. Great work from Adley there. We go to the top of the third, still tied 1 apiece. So for any of those who are watching, feel free to, like the stream, subscribe as well, just to promote myself, because I always like to do that. And I think it's good for, my channel and all that. But also feel free to comment. Love talking with people in the chat more than me just rambling on about myself or rambling on myself about the game and whatnot. Since I can certainly do that, but also chatting with people is fun. I like human interaction, to say the least. Yes, very, very nice indeed, Kevin. Yeah. Will be Taveras, Holiday, and Ward up to bat. Ward is 0 for 1 on the night so far. Taveras having a nice season behind home plate. Or at the plate, not behind home plate. He doesn't play catcher. Defensively, I feel like Taveras hasn't quite been the best. He's had a lot of balls go over his head in center field, like ones that look like he should catch, but at the same time, he's still had his moments here and there defensively, but he's been a very nice addition to the lineup. Like, anytime he gets on base, he is just a nightmare for opposing defenses. Because he loves to steal, loves to just kind of dance around the base paths. Obviously, he's great at sack bunts and all that. He's kind of been that little, dynamo that the Orioles need on offense that I feel like they've almost been missing a little bit. Just like a little feisty guy almost on the base paths that you just you don't want in, you don't want to get him on base. My stats say I have 5 concurrent viewers, so it's that's why I'm trying to promote more people in the chat. It's fun. More community and all that. I had a couple different chatters last time around. Had a One Piece fan in the chat who kind of dipped after the 4th inning. Luckily, he missed all the bad parts of that game. Just had the fun, the good stuff. Back when the O's had a 5-0 lead in that game. But you don't have to chat, obviously. Won't pressure you in anything, but it's always nice. As Taveras will take strike 1 on a fastball at the bottom of the zone. Taveras also a switch hitter, so him and Adley both switch hitters. Taveras hitting from the left side. Just 2 home runs of the season, but hitting 273. been more regular in the lineup as of late, as he takes ball 1 on a slider skipped in the dirt. Interesting, putting a stat on there that Blue Jays are 27-12 record-wise since 2025 with the roof open. The roof is in fact open today. Taveras takes outside for ball 2. 2-1 count on the fastball there. So you Savage, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit with that 1 earned run, no walks and a strikeout. So definitely like that, no walks for him. I don't like it. I would prefer some walks here. As Taveras will pop this one up behind home plate. That will get out of play on the splitter. But yeah, Savage, I think he had either 8 or 9 walks. I think it was 8 last week against the Orioles. So it has been much better in terms of command for Savage tonight, so far at least, through 29 pitches. Only Colton Cowser got into a 3-ball count, and he swung on a 3-0. General Manager John Schneider for the Blue Jays looking on. 2-2 to Taveras will be knocked over directly on a line to the second baseman, Ernie Clement, for out number 1. Not a very hard line out either. Kind of like sliced at it almost did Taveras. So no, 3 innings in a row, the Blue Jays have retired the leadoff man for the Orioles. Jackson Holliday up, hitting .231, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's only been back up in the majors for a couple weeks. Fouls that fastball away for strike 1. But really, ever since Holliday came back, the O's have been playing much better. I wouldn't say he's the only reason why. I think just the Orioles as a whole have been heating up a little bit, but his presence, I think, has certainly helped. There is ball 1 on a fastball up in line with his head, though over the plate for ball 1. So Holliday, the lefty. Okamoto playing really close to the infield grass there, interestingly enough, like he's looking for a bunt or something. Holliday's not shown it all. There's strike 2 on a good splitter there. Holliday takes his time on the 1-2 count at the moment. Savage threw 33 pitches, has only allowed the 1 base runner, and was the Adley Rutschman home run. Is in a good count against Holliday here. Spikes a splitter there for ball 2. Didn't even get to the dirt in front of home plate. No, not a good pitch there. I think he's kind of scraping his cleat on the mound. Might have got a foot stuck or something. Taylor Ward, who grounded out in the first inning, is on deck. We will see him no matter what. After that, it would be Gunnar Henderson up to bat, should we not have a 1-2-3 inning here. Holliday swings through a splitter there for strike 3. So second strikeout of the night for Trey Savage, who's been pitching much better than he was back on Saturday. Much more like the Trey Savage we've grown to see so far in his young career. Fortunately, the Blue Jays found another good good arm. As an Orioles fan, I would prefer their rotation to not be good. So Taylor Ward on the first pitch will swing over a slider for strike 1. Ward, again, the power has not been there for him this season, but the on-base percentage and just the ability to get on base has been great. You would like the power to be up a little bit more, though, at this point. Ward swings through another slider there for strike 2, so not usually like him. Usually pretty patient hitter with a good eye is Taylor Ward. Has back-to-back 3-hit games coming into today. Right now, not looking like that's going to be the case at the moment. He's in a quick 0-2 hole after going 0 for 1. The 0-2 to Ward is called strike 3 on the slider that might have been a ball, but it was right around the edge of the zone. Ward takes. So it's a 1-2-3 inning there for Savage with a couple strikeouts. Brandon Young back on to pitch against Valenzuela again, who was originally up to bat against him before the pickoff of Andres Jimenez. So it'll be Valenzuela, Springer, and Lucas. Yeah, I agree, Kevin. I would certainly love to see some homers from Ward soon. Would love to see some hits as well for the Orioles tonight. Just one so far. But it will be Henderson, Rutschman, and Alonso up to bat in the top of the 4th. Let's hope Brandon Young can pitch another scoreless inning here. Let's go over the standings right now. I haven't usually done that much, or done that before, but let's go over the standings now that we're into the first week of June. since standings are pretty interesting at the moment. So this is, I think, pretty much up to date for going into today. In the AL East, it is the Tampa Bay Rays at 36-23 leading the way. The Yankees are half game back at 37-25. The Orioles and Blue Jays are both 8 back at 30-33 coming in today. So this series is going to be very crucial for this going forward. Both teams also a half a game out of a wild card spot in the American League. Obviously, this is still only June, but for looking forward wise. Then finally, the Boston Red Sox are 11 games back at 26-35. In the AL Central, it is the Guardians leading the way at 36-28. The White Sox 2 games back at 33-29. The Twins 7 back at 29-35. Then the Tigers and Royals both 10.5 back at 25-38. In the AL West, it is the Mariners leading the way at 33-30. The A's 2.5 back at 30-32. Rangers, same exact record. The Astros 5.5 back at 28-36. And then the Angels 9 back at 24-39. I will go over the NL standings next half inning, as Valenzuela fouls off that four-seamer for strike one. Obviously, the pitch count resets with the new inning, but Valenzuela got to see a couple pitches from Young before he had to go back to the dugout with the Andres Jimenez pickoff at second base. So hitting .231, he will knock this one over to Jackson Holliday at second, bobbles it slightly, but still has plenty of time to throw Valenzuela out at first. I agree, Kevin. The White Sox are definitely a little, I'd say they're even more than a little fun to watch. They've been very fun. I've been a huge fan of Munetaka Murakami. I just love how much he's been hitting the ball. Even if he's unfortunately now injured with a hamstring injury, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. I also have him on fantasy team, so that helps too. But him, and then especially Miguel Vargas for the White Sox, he's been fantastic. First pitch to George Springer, who had that double in the first inning, is a slider outside for ball one. But the White Sox, hang on one sec. Their starting pitcher that's really good. He's also been fun to watch. 0-1 is just outside with a fastball for ball two to Springer, who is the lone run scorer for the Blue Jays at the moment. What is his name? The White Sox pitcher. Where are you? Davis Martin, that's who it is. He's been pitching really well for the White Sox. Ball three with a sinker just inside for Young here. So it's I missed a strike apparently as well. So it's, I guess one of those was called a strike. So it's a 2-1 count. Must have been that second pitch that I guess was called a strike. Didn't look like the umpire signal, but it's called a strike nonetheless. As Springer will knock this one over to a diving Kobe Mayo at third. He kind of throws it in the dirt offline. That is an infield single there for George Springer. Mayo just kind of taken off his feet, had to make a diving play to save a double at least. So it is just a single. Springer halfway towards the cycle at the moment. Tough play there for Kobe. Maybe could have made it if he'd taken a little bit more time, but would have been really close if he had gotten up. But it was just really hard hit ball. Kobe Mayo makes a good diving stop at least. The throw was just a little bit offline. Like, really good effort by Kobe Mayo on the stop. The throw was just a little off. Alonso able to field it cleanly, just was pulled off the bag. Kevin, you are correct. Aaron Judge is out for 4 to 6 weeks, I think is what I heard, with an injury. I think it's like some kind of core injury, I think. But yeah, not good for the Yankees at all. Strike one to Nathan Lucas, by the way. So the AL East is going to be pretty wide open at this point with the Yankees with Judge going down. As Lucas taps this one over to Alonso at first, throw over to second in time for one, and it will be only one, as this was a pretty slow developing play. Fielder's choice there gets Springer out and replaces. He will be replaced by Lucas at first, so it is 2 down. Runner on first. Alonso kind of has to go in, and I think Lucas is just a little too fast. So it's not quite fast enough, or not quite hard enough hit by Lucas there to get a double play, but it is still an out, and not a productive out either. Vlad Guerrero Jr. up. He will knock the first pitch high in the air, but not very far. Gunnar Henderson calling it in shallow center field. He will make the out, so an infield single and nothing more for Brandon Young there in the bottom of the third. Keeps the score 1 apiece. Blue Jays have 4 hits, but only 1 run. They've stranded 3. The Orioles still just the 1 hit, and it was that homer from Adley Rutschman, who's up to bat second in the top of the 4th. But yeah, so With the Rays struggling as of late and the Yankees now without Judge, this could be very interesting to see how the AL East gets shaken up. If at all, maybe those teams just kind of keep a hold, but who knows? We'll see. Either way, I think this is going to be pretty interesting. So let me go back to the standings real quick. Red Sox also up 2-1 now with the Yankees. Loves that. You have not asked Kevin. I will get to that in a moment. Actually, I'll say that now before I get to standings. Favorite food at Oriole Park? Their soft pretzels are really nice. I like their soft pretzels a lot. I mean, I'm a big soft pretzel guy in general, but there's always some pretty good soft pretzels over at Camden. I will certainly say that. Their popcorn's been pretty hit or miss, I feel like, whenever I go there. Like the last time when I went a couple weeks ago, when they were playing the Athletics, did not have some very good popcorn there, unfortunately. But anyway, the National League standings, just to go over them real quick. The Braves are leading the AL East pretty comfortably at 42-21. The pretty resurgent Phillies, actually, are now second at 8.5 back at 33-29 after a dismal start that got their manager fired. The Nats are 11 back at 31-32. Marlins 13 back at 29-34. And then the Mets all the way back at 14.5 back. How many times am I going to say back in one sentence? 27-35. The AL Central is led by the Milwaukee Brewers, a very, very strong AL Central. All teams above 500. Brewers are 37-23. The Pirates 4.5 games back at 34-29. The Cardinals 5 games back at 32-28. The Cubs 6 back at 31-33. They're having a rough stretch at the moment. And then the Reds 6.5 back at 31-30. Then the NL West, as Gunnar Henderson will knock the first pitch over into deep left field. That will hang up though for the left fielder. Hang on, who is the left fielder in there for Toronto? Jesus Sanchez hangs up for Jesus Sanchez for out number 1 on the first pitch. So anyway, the NL West, Dodgers leading the way at 40-23. Diamondbacks 6.5 back at 33-29. Padres 7 back at 32-29. Then the Giants 14.5 back at 26-38. And Rockies 16 back at 24-39. All right. That's standings. Got that over with. Rutschman on the first pitch sees a fastball in there for strike 1. Last time I went to Boog Powell was serving pit beef sandwiches and was amazing. Probably 10 years ago. I don't know if I've been to Boog's yet, actually. There's ball 1 on a fastball outside. I walk past it all the time. I'm a bit of a picky eater, so I don't usually go around too much. But it was... I've heard good things about that place. I think it's still there. Or at least something like behind the outfield that I think Boog has something to do with it is still there. Rutschman takes ball 2 on a slider below the zone. Again, the home run hitter for the Orioles back in the first. It's 42 pitches now for Savage. Just pitching, I think really just 1 over the minimum at the moment. Now that I think about it. Or it might be 2 over the minimum, actually. Rutschman fouls that one off with a fastball there. It should be. No, it is just 1 over the minimum, right? Yeah, because no walks. Yeah, that sounds right, I think. That my math should be correct there. But yeah, 2-2 is the count for Rutschman, the lone hitter. I think the roof is actually going to start closing here soon because there might be some rain from the looks of it over there in Toronto. Rutschman will just barely stay alive by getting a piece of that slider that was below the zone. Good defensive swing there from Adley. Yeah, I think there looks like there is going to be some rain approaching. Luckily, the roof is retractable, so will be no delay there. Rutschman will look at ball 3 outside on a splitter, so he's worked himself into a full count. Adley seeing Savage well so far tonight through these pitches so far. Batting a lefty at the moment as the switch hitter against the righty pitcher. Nobody on here as Rutschman will swing and miss on the splitter. Actually, he might have gotten a slight piece of it. Umpires calling that a foul tip in the dirt, was not hung on by Valenzuela. So Rutschman able to somehow stay alive there. That was really impressive. On a splitter that Rutschman just barely gets a tip of it. Like, barely. Didn't even move the ball, but I could see a little bit coming off of the ball. That was very impressive. Rutschman takes ball 4 inside on a splitter. So Rutschman works a walk. First walk of the night for the Orioles. Second base runner, both base runners being Adley Rutschman. First man on who is not all the way around either. So this will bring Pete Alonso up to the plate, who's 0 for 1. I would certainly love a sweep as well, Kevin. That would be absolutely fantastic. So Alonso popped out the first time he was up, back at the end of the first inning. Takes ball 1 below the zone with a fastball. Alonso, he's been a guy who's never been the best in the first inning this season for the Orioles. He always seems to have like a pretty inopportune hit in the first, but after that, he usually heats up. So we'll see if he's able to do it here. Takes strike 1. Oh, that was a bad call by the ump. Outside on a slider, so it's 1-1. Alonso probably could have challenged that one there, but he did not. O's usually pretty conservative with their challenges now. The Orioles fan of the Rogers Center Hotel's now put up the polar bear. There's strike 2. That one is a splitter that drops in the zone, so Alonso looks at a couple strikes there. Again, one of them shouldn't have been a strike, but was nonetheless. 1-2 count for Pete. 50 pitches now for Savage. He's given up the 1 hit and the 1 walk, both to Adley Rutschman. Has gotten everyone else out in the Orioles lineup. See if Alonso can change that here. Would love a little knock. Would be nice. So the 1-2 from Yesevich to Alonso is below the zone with a splitter for ball 2. I'll even take a walk here, you know? Get the walks rolling. Just get some guys on base. Bring up Big Sam, you know? With a guy in running scoring position. Or just a guy in scoring position. That would be nice. 2-2 at Alonso is below the zone with a fastball for ball 3. So back-to-back full counts now for the Orioles here. Again, Samuel Basayo on deck, grounded out in the top of the second inning. Hopefully we see Samuel Basayo in this inning. It would be nice. The 3-2 to Alonso is knocked high in the air, but popped up completely. Just past center field. Actually got a pretty decent way out there, but it hangs up well enough on the pop out for the center fielder Dalton Varsho for out number 2. So not a productive out as Alonso shakes his head. Got well under that one. It's kind of just it was a fastball, easily hittable fastball, but Alonso just under it a little bit. And he knew it immediately, threw his bat in disgust. I think the goatee is not working out at the moment for Alonso. I'm not a fan of that. I usually, especially for baseball, I don't mind facial hair all that much. Like I'm fine with guys doing it. Not that I'm against it in general, but like anyway, Basayo swings and misses on a splitter for strike 1. Like I don't mind most styles. Like I do love a good mustache in baseball, especially for a pitcher. Just that goatee does not work for Alonso. I'm sorry. That's saying as someone who has tried on a goatee once in the mirror and also hated it. So like I do appreciate a good goatee, but that it just does not work for Alonso there at all. So the 0-1 to Basayo from Savage is popped up behind home plate and will get out of play for strike 2. So an 0-2 hold to the big lefty catcher, who's been, again, having a decent stretch as of late. Maybe not quite as good as I feel like even I'm thinking of. I feel like he struck out a decent bit, but we'll see if Basayo can get another knock here, give the Orioles the lead maybe. That'd be nice. He will ground this one over to Ernie Clement instead at second base, and that is out number 3. Was shaded well over toward the first base bag either. So Orioles strand 1 on the Adley Rutschman walk. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Should be I think Vlad Guerrero Jr., Dalton Varsho, Ernie Clement. I think that sounds right. Pretty sure. Looks right, at least. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Alonso's the guy who, Kevin, I think works better clean shaven more than with facial hair. That's just me, though. So again, still tied here, 1 apiece. Let's go back to the baseball scoreboard real quick. I'm more just because I want to see who scored for the Red Sox. Willie Abreu RBI ground out, and then Wilson Contreras infield single there in the 3rd. Like that. Who's pitching for the Yankees as well? Ryan Weathers. What they're doing against Weathers? Nice. And then Sonny Gray's pitching for the Red Sox. So I will certainly love anything. Or certainly love a win there for the Red Sox over the Yankees. That would be awesome. Yeah. I agree, Kevin. If he starts hitting some home runs with that goatee, I will stop complaining. Whatever works. As long as he can start hitting some dingers, hitting some bombs, hitting some nukes, whatever you want to call it, I'll go with whatever. So yeah, Phillies now up 6-3 over the White Sox. Tigers up 3-1 over the Marlins. Or Mariners, not Marlins, sorry. The Rays up 3-0 over the Mariners. Pirates up 2-1 over the Braves. Then we'll have the Athletics and the Astros play later. The Reds and the Cardinals play later. Guardians, Rangers play later. Royals, Twins. Brewers, Rockies, Mets, Padres, Nats, Diamondbacks, and Angels, Dodgers. So a couple divisional matchups here. Obviously, Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles, Blue Jays. Then the Athletics and Astros, Reds, Cardinals, and Royals and Twins. Those are all divisional matchups. First pitch from Young to not Vlad Guerrero Jr. This is pinch hitter Yohendrick Pinango. Interesting here. It also looks like he almost has a hickey on his neck. I'm very confused now at the moment. So ball 1 to Pinango, who started last week on Friday at least, but the lefty here. So don't know what's going on with Dalton Varsho. I didn't see any injury there. Don't know if this is just a matchup thing either. It's because like Brandon Young's the same pitcher. Pinango swings under a fastball there for strike 2. So not quite sure what happened with Dalton Varsho. Oh yeah, because Guerrero had the sac fly. That's what it was. That's why he's only has one hit listed. As Pinango skies this one in the air over into foul territory in left. Mayo ranging and makes the out for out number 1. 42 pitches for Brandon Young. Or 43, actually, sorry. So Ernie Clement up to bat next. Will be Ernie Clement and then Jesus Sanchez. 12 balls to 31 strikes for Brandon Young, who's been pitching pretty well so far. Really just that leadoff double in the first that's messed him up. There's a curveball, strike 1 to Clement. Did have a little bit of trouble with the bottom of the lineup for the Blue Jays, but did not allow runs after that. 12 of 14 first pitch strikes for Brandon Young tonight. There's a slider that is swung and missed in the dirt, but I think Clement was looking at something else, so he's in a quick 0-2 hole. Young does not have a strikeout yet tonight. He's had a lot of good mix of pop-outs and ground-outs. Some hard, some soft, but no strikeouts yet. Has definitely had a couple swings and misses, but not too many. There is the first strikeout, so willed it into existence there. Couple sliders there, gets Clement swinging. So 3-pitch strikeout for Brandon Young for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 4th. We'll bring up Jesus Sanchez. That was a much sharper slider there from Young. Hung up a little bit, but Clement was just out in front of it a little bit. And obviously Clement had missed on that slider for strike 2 as well, and that one was in the dirt. Third slider was in the zone, or technically second slider of the sequence, but third pitch. So Jesus Sanchez, who flied out last time he was up, I believe to center field if I remember correctly, on the first pitch, will look inside for ball 1 on a splitter that just barely gets yanked a little bit too far. But Sanchez looks pretty tall. I'm actually curious how tall he is there in the lefty batter's box. Yeah, Brandon Young could certainly use some run support here. As Sanchez grounds this one over to Jackson Holliday. Second good pick there from Holliday to get the quick 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Young. He's having another nice start here for the Orioles. Let's see if the O's can find someone else besides Adley Rutschman to get on base here as we move to the 5th inning. Let's see. Jesus Sanchez, how tall are you? You are only 6'3". Just looked a little taller than that. There should be Kobe Mayo, Colton Cowser, and Leody Taveras up to bat going into the top of the 5th. Again, tough to do against a guy like Trey Savage, but we'll see. Could definitely didn't have the cleanest inning last time up, even if he got out at scoreless. So we'll see if that shakiness can continue there for Savage here as we get to the 5th innings. Also the second time these guys are all seeing each other, or seeing Savage for the night. So I think Kyle Bradish should be starting. Should be Bradish and Boz for Saturday and Sunday in the series, I believe, because I think Bradish has kind of slotted himself into the 1 spot and Boz the number 2 spot. Not sure where. I think Bassett's still now kind of at 3, and then Rogers kind of slid into the 4 spot with Young in the 5 spot at the moment. We'll see if Trey Gibson comes up again anytime soon. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say he's been the best Oriole, Kevin, but he's been one of the best, like easily top 5 Oriole this year. Like I just off the top of my head, top 5 in no particular order. I'd put Bradish, Young, Basayo, Rutschman, and Rico. I'd put Rico as number 1. I might put. I don't know who I'd put number. I think now with how Bradish is pitching, I might put him number 2. I might actually put Young 3. I think Adley 4, and then Basayo 5 at the moment. I think Taylor Ward's also up there, but it's like definitely Rico Garcia is my number 1 Oriole just with how well he's been pitching. Ball 1 to Kobe Mayo as well, but I wouldn't blame you for putting Brandon Young up there at the top with how he's been pitching. Mayo fouls this one off over into right, foul ground, and good Balble there, catch by Guerrero, almost mishandles it, but it hung up just well enough, didn't quite slice out of play, so it is a foul out for Kobe Mayo. Guerrero bobbled it, almost lost it, but got it back as he crashed into the netting. Did have actually last week on Friday, he had a misplayed foul catch in Camden, but was able to get it there on the slight bounce back. Yeah, I agree. It's great to see that Young is doing well. So strike 1 to Colton Cowser. Apparently Guerrero also lost an earring when he crashed into the netting. Interesting. Cowser swings through a fastball for strike 2, so he's in a quick 0-2 hole. Ooh. Nice. Red Sox up 3-1 now. Who is that? Oh, Andrew Monastero with a home run. Nice. I was not expecting that. So 0-2 to Cowser. Takes a splitter below the zone for ball 1. I wonder how much that earring cost, Vladdy. Probably a decent bit. I think the fans might be looking around for it now. Cowser takes ball 2 on a splitter below the zone. Grounded out on a 3-0 count last time he was up, which was a little frustrating. Worked himself back into a favorable count here. 62 pitches now for Yasevich through 4 1/3. I think the fans did find the earring as well, so Vladdy will be happy about that. We got a Toy Story 5 advertisement on the digital billboard behind it as Cowser pokes one into pretty deep left field, but it will hang up there for the left fielder Sanchez for out number 2. So no one outside of Rutschman at the moment has been able to solve the puzzle of Trey Yasevich today. See if Leody Taveras can figure it out. So not exactly the best night offensively for the Orioles. Again, outside of Adley. Taveras will ground the first pitch over to Guerrero at first. He will flip it over to Yasevich for out number 3. So trying to will things into existence did not work there. So pretty quick 1, 2, 3, top of the 5th for Trey Yasevich. We will move on. It should be Cosma Okamoto, Andres Jimenez, and then Brandon Valenzuela in the bottom of the 5th, 7, 8, and 9 for the Blue Jays. In the top of the 6th, it's going to eventually be Jackson Holliday, Taylor Ward, and Gunnar Henderson, as the lineup card is going to get flipped over there. Pretty quick game so far. Let's see if I can figure out what happened to Dalton Varsho as well. I have no idea. Nope, that's not how you spell his name. I typed in Varsho, not Varsho. Have not seen anything yet on Dalton Varsho. I mean, I assume it's an injury, but I don't know what, how, and why. Yeah, it's the old Orioles offensive approach, Kevin, and not the good one where they just kind of swing at everything and don't do well. They're always have been good at getting guys on base a lot in this little stretch of theirs, and they have only had the technically two, but actually one guy on base. And again, it's been Adley Rutschman both times with the home run and the walk. Everyone else is an offer at the moment. So we'll see if they. I mean, I think it's like I don't know if it's a like psychological thing with Savage only throwing 3 pitches, and like 2 of them are fastball variants. But I don't know. Like maybe they're just trying to swing early, and it's like it's even weirder with Savage issuing 8 walks last time he was up. Like just completely different pitcher this time around. So I don't know. Baseball's weird. that's my usual go-to there. So the first pitch to Okamoto is yanked outside with a fastball for ball 1. Okamoto singled his last time he was up. As the roof is just about closed there in Toronto due to the incoming rain there. 50th pitch for Brandon Young is yanked outside with a fastball for ball 2. So decently efficient first 4 innings at least for Brandon Young. Won't say anything so far about the 5th. Not a good first 2 pitches to Okamoto, who singled off him to left last time he was up. Takes strike 1 there on a fastball in the zone. Yeah, Okamoto, Jimenez, both of them who singled, and then Valenzuela. Jimenez got thrown out at second, or on the steal attempt at second last time. Strike 2 on a curveball that hits the top of the zone there. So Young has worked himself back into the count with a couple of strikes looking. Still just the 1 strikeout for Young on the night. 3 strikeouts for Savage. As Okamoto chops this one through the middle. No one shaded there for another single. So 2-hit game for Kaz. So the leadoff man on for the Blue Jays for, I think, just the second time, I want to say. Orioles have yet to have the leadoff man on tonight. So Andres Jimenez singled over into right field his first time up. See if we can get a ground ball double play here. That would be nice. 54th pitch for Young here is popped up and behind home plate into foul territory by the third base side, actually. Well out of play for strike 1. So Young's had a good night so far. We'll see if he can buckle down here to start the 5th inning. Definitely needs to be on his A game with how the Orioles offense is not performing at the moment. One of those games that the Orioles offense does just kind of shut down. The 0-1 from Young to Jimenez here is popped foul again on a fastball, 0-2. So a very favorable count here. Looking for strikeout number 2 on the night for B. Young. Bullpen should be decently rested after the blowouts either way on Wednesday and Thursday against Boston. The 0-2 to Jimenez is swung on a miss. Strike 3 on the slider. That was a really good slider right there for Young. Just kind of breaks down below the zone. Jimenez over top of it. So out number 1 brings up Brendan Valenzuela. Now a double play would end the inning. It's good slider there. Really nice one. Didn't hang whatsoever, just a lot of drop. So the mix as a whole, I think, for Young has been working so far. Fastball's been good. The sinker's been good. There is a splitter, actually, that gets popped up behind home plate a little bit, but out of play by Valenzuela, who is 0 for 1 on the night. A lot of diagonal movement on that splitter, actually, for Young. He's also got the sinker, which is a similar type of movement almost, but obviously a little bit more velocity to it, I'd say. Not by too much. Actually a decent bit. velocity-wise. Splitter's not got a ton of velocity to it compared to the sinker. There is another splitter, swung on a miss, strike 2. But just, like, it takes, as someone who's watched baseball for a bit, it takes a little while to, like, recognize just how pitches work. And even then, I'm still not the best at it, because, like, I think the idea is that, the splitters tend to have a lot of drop to them for a fastball. Sinkers have a little bit of drop and also a little bit of horizontal movement to them. They kind of usually sink away a little bit. Cutters, I think, usually cut more inside than outside with a little bit of movement, whereas sinkers kind of go down a bit more. The 0-2 to Valenzuela is yanked inside splitter. Back picked attempt is not in time by Rutschman. But then you got like sliders and curveballs. Sliders can kind of, I feel like, sometimes they can be like more of a straight drop. Sometimes they have a lot more horizontal movement to them. Then you have the sweeper now, which is more like a slider, but has like a ton of horizontal movement to it. So it's like Young's sweeper is, or not sweeper, his slider is a lot more of just like vertical drop rather than horizontal break. Almost like a curveball. There's a four-seamer, which just goes straight on. That one's above the zone for ball 2. But 12 pitches now in the inning after back-to-back 9-pitch innings for Young. In line for another strikeout here, though, against Valenzuela on the 2-2 count. 61st pitch coming. It is knocked high in the air, though. Out into deep right field. That will be a 2-run home run. So that one looked like a hanging splitter there for Young, and Valenzuela knocks it out of there, makes it 3-1 Blue Jays. So it'd been going really well, and then it didn't. 4-17, that one was just gone. 106 off the bat, 6th home run of the season for Valenzuela. That's unfortunate. Yeah, just had, or hanging slider, sorry, not splitter. Hanging slider. It's definitely hung a couple of those today. Young knew it coming off the bat. Just got out of there in a hurry. Well, O's offense needs to put in some work here. Now down 2 as Springer fouls the first slider off for strike 1. He's 2 for 2 on the night with a single and a double. Had a single his last time up and doubled first time up. So O's down for the first time tonight. See if Young can battle back here as Springer fouls that sinker off. He's in a no-2 hole. So Valenzuela, who is fit in nicely for the Blue Jays with Alejandro Kirk's injury, gives them the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-2 to Springer is chopped foul on the slider. So the worst inning so far of the night for Brandon Young. After that, it will be Nathan Lucas. Then Vlad Guerrero Jr. would be up to bat after that, unless Young's able to get out Springer and Lucas. Lucas is 0 for 2, Springer 2 for 2. In an 0-2 hole at the moment, though, is Springer again still. He will foul this one away as well on that fastball in the zone. Tried to just power it by him, did Brandon Young. So Fridays have not been the best for the Orioles so far this season. My record, I think, is like 4 and 5 or 4 and 6 right now. The 0-2 to Springer is popped up into foul territory before first base. Alonso makes the out, so Springer's retired for the first time tonight. There's out number 2. Got something happen here, though. Adley's smiling. I'm not sure why. Don't know if they're trying to get like an interference call or something on someone. It might have been catcher's interference, actually. Yeah, Springer's pointing to it. Yeah, there. Oh, yeah, that was very blatantly obvious catcher's interference. So instead, Springer will not be retired. He gets to advance to first base on catcher's interference there. Just swatted at the glove of Adley Rutschman as Rutschman was trying to snag that one. Curveball strike 1 to Nathan Lucas. So it is not a foul out. Instead, it is Springer reaching to first base. Yeah, pretty obvious catcher's interference as well. Springer's bat got a lot of glove. Lucas fouls that sinker away 0-2. So the inning continues. 68 pitches now for Young, who's, and I assume Hunt and strikeout here at 0-2, but also probably hoping for a ground ball double play. So again, Lucas 0 for 2 on the night. See if Young can get him a third time here. Fouls that, forcing him off above the zone. So we stay at 0-2. See if Young goes for something low now. Looks like Yennier Cano is warming up in the bullpen, and Anthony Nunez, or at least they're stretching in the bullpen. Probably see him sooner rather than later. There's strike 3 called looking. Sinker that clips the outside corner of the zone. Good strikeout there from Brandon Young. Sinker just kind of runs out to that bottom right corner. Yeah, that was definitely in there. Perfect pitch. So Lucas 0 for 3 brings up Guerrero Jr., who's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Lucas is slamming his helmet in the dugout. So Guerrero, 70 pitches now as Young throws over to first base, not in time for George Springer, who's there. Guerrero, who's been aggressive tonight, popped out as well. We'll wait for the first pitch here after the attempted pickoff. First pitch here is in there, strike 1 called. Sinker at the top of the zone, no swing from Vlad. So they're now showing Vlad's catch where he lost his earring briefly. This bobbled out of his glove and into his bare hand. So the 0-1 now to Guerrero is knocked over and out of play, foul. 0-2 to Vlad. Young looking for another strikeout here. He's up to 3 on the night. But that 2-run homer this inning has dampened things for the Orioles. Their offense needs to pick up the pace against Trey Savage after this long bottom of the 5th. The 0-2 to Vlad is knocked over to a diving Gunnar Henderson at second, or shortstop. He throws Vlad out, who I think didn't even bother running at that at all. I think Guerrero might have thought that was called on the line because he just didn't even really run. But a really good play there from Gunnar Henderson to end the inning there. Gets Guerrero out, but the Blue Jays do get 2 off of the Valenzuela 2-run home run. Not sure what Vlad was doing there because that was pretty close to being a base hit. So I'm not really sure why he was not seen on camera. But anyway, will be Jackson Holliday, Taylor Ward, and Gunnar Henderson up to bat. See if the O's can get back in the hit column here. They've not had a hit since the third batter of the game in Adley Rutschman with that home run. They have not had a base runner since Adley Rutschman's walk in the third inning. So hopefully they can turn it around. I don't want to watch another loss on stream. They're not fun. For those of you watching at home on the stream, the 5 confirmed views that I see right now, at least according to my OBS thing, what do you think? Or are you Blue Jays fans? Are you enjoying my suffering? Or are you simply fans of a different team? Or are you fans of baseball at all? I'd like to know. Is this your first time listening to a baseball game? If so, might not be the most interesting baseball game in the world, but you know, it's still pretty fun. Red Sox up 5-2 over the Yankees now, which is awesome. Love that. Wilson Contreras with a 2-run home run. That is sweet. Anytime the Yankees lose, it is a good day for baseball. Phillies up 6-5 to the White Sox. The White Sox have got a couple of runs back now. Randall Grichuk and Hill. I don't know who Hill is off the top of my head. Tigers still up 3-1 over the Mariners. Rays up 4-0 now over the Marlins. Pirates and Braves tied at 3. A's and Astros just started their scoreless. Reds up 2-0 over the Cardinals. They also just started. Guardians up 1-0 over the Rangers. They just started. Then Royals and Twins are delayed at the moment. First pitch to Jackson Holliday is a strike on a slider at the top of the zone. 0-1 to Holliday. There is a pitch outside of the fastball for ball 1. So pretty long in between innings, so to speak, for Yasevich. had a lot of time to relax as the Blue Jays put up 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Holiday knocks this one over into shallow left field. That's going to actually pretty, not quite shallow left field. That's going to be a double as it rolls all the way to the wall, splits the defenders. So there's a leadoff double for Jackson Holiday. First leadoff man aboard for the Orioles in this game. First double of the season as well for Jackson. Fastball that was at the outer part of the zone. Holiday just goes opposite field and got a decent bit of power to it. Lines it out over into left. Well, Kevin, we started off good here in the top of the 6th. Runner in scoring position immediately. First time the O's have a runner in scoring position tonight. Taylor Ward on the first pitch will knock this one over into left field. Just barely foul, though. Just got out in front of that slider a little bit. So Ward with a ground out and a strikeout tonight has been a bit more aggressive swinging the bat. Not seeing him get into a full count as he usually does. 68 pitches for Yosevich. There's a slider just above the zone for ball 1. Strike zone, I feel like for tonight has been a little expanded, slightly, but Ward correctly gets the ball call there. Craig Albernas talking with Adley Rutschman as Ward knocks this one back into Brandon Valenzuela. Kind of gets him in the inner thigh, unfortunately. Probably does not feel good. So foul tip there for strike 2. Valenzuela looks fine enough. So 70 pitches now for Yosevich. It's weird. Like the pitch count's actually like kind of a little high, slightly. Like pretty similar to what Brandon Young had. But like it just doesn't. It feels like the Orioles just have not been able to have efficient at bats at all, especially given the lack of hits they've had so far tonight. But the 1-2 to Taylor Ward is upstairs, well upstairs with a splitter for ball 2. Nowhere close there. So Ward has worked himself back into a decent count here, though it's still in danger of striking out, which he's done already once. Savage looking on. He throws a fastball that is fouled off behind home plate for, again, strike 2. So we go again. Same count. Ward now starting to work a little bit deeper here. I see we're up to 8 concurrent viewers now. I think that's like the most I've ever had. So again, concurrent viewers, feel free to drop like a little just hi in the chat. I love that. Ward check swing. Does he go around? Yes, he does, unfortunately, on the splitter below the zone. Strike 3, second strikeout of the night for Taylor Ward. Just barely couldn't hold on. And yeah, I mean, it just barely goes around. It's like, how do you define a swing? I'm not sure, but unfortunately, it does kind of look like Ward went around just a little bit too much, so he's 0 for 3. Henderson is 0 for 2, up to bat with a runner in scoring position here. Looks at strike 1 called on a splitter at the top of the zone. Probably was a ball, but called a strike. It's been a lot of those tonight so far. Savage is kind of living around the edges of the zone, which on a day like tonight is not bad given the strike zone being called. Strike 2 swinging this time on a splitter that Henderson missed. He's already struck out once on the night and is now in a bad count. The Orioles runner in scoring position woes are continuing a little bit here. They've not been the best at hitting with runs in scoring position, that's for sure. And are 0 for 1 on the night, in danger of going 0 for 2. Let's see if Gunnar Henderson cannot have that happen, though. Looks at ball 1 on a splitter outside. So I like the fact that he's taking a ball. It's good. We're not swinging at a pitch in the ready batter's box. 1-2 to Henderson. From Yosevich is outside with a fastball for ball 2. So from an 0-2 to a 2-2, a couple times in a row now. Again, only the 1 walk for the Orioles so far tonight, and that was Adley Rutschman back in the 3rd. Henderson needs a couple balls for that to happen. We'll knock this one foul on a slider in the zone. Hung a little bit, but I think Henderson might have been looking for fastball there. So still 2-2 count here, as the Orioles could really use a hit here to get Holiday in to make this a 1-run game again. Pretty critical here in this game. 2-2 to Henderson again is fouled away again on a splitter out of the zone, but Henderson gets a piece of it. So Henderson's at least getting some foul tips here. Strike, strike, ball, ball, foul, foul has been the sequence so far. Only 1 four-seamer from Yosevich to Henderson at the moment. O's are usually pretty good at hitting fastballs, not so much off speed. 2-2 again is spiked in the dirt with a splitter. Holiday ranges back to second base. Good block there by Valenzuela. So Henderson has worked himself into a 3-2 count. Adley Rutschman is on deck at the moment. He is 1-for-1 with a walk. So 80 pitches now for Savage. Actually, wouldn't mind a walk here at all from Gunnar. Bring Adley up, have him hit a 3-run homer, take the lead. That would be ideal. There is the walk as the splitter is high. So Henderson does reach base for the first time tonight. Couple base runners now in the inning. Does bring up Adley Rutschman, who has seen Savage well through his first 2 at-bats. We'll see if that can continue here. So this is a pretty big at-bat in this game. One of the bigger ones so far. Rutschman against Savage, the Blue Jays pitching coach, whose name I don't remember, but he's a really good handlebar mustache. He is on the bullpen phone as the pitch count is rising steadily for Savage here in the top of the 6th. Rutschman 1-for-1 with that solo home run and the walk. Looks at strike 1 on a fastball at the outside part of the zone. It's a good pitch there. I think Adley wasn't quite sure that was a strike, but according to the box match that is showing me, that was in fact a strike. So 0-1 to Adley. Could really use a hit here. Adley will knock this one over into center field. That will get down for a base hit. That is going to be a double, I think. From the looks of it, Holiday is going to get home easily. Henderson, I think, is going to stop at third. No, he's going home. He will be safe at home plate. 2 RBI double for Adley Rutschman. We are tied once more. Let's go. Adley Rutschman has dominated Trey Savage tonight with that RBI double and the home run. 3 RBIs tonight for Adley Rutschman. We are tied once more. Let's go. Great send there from Buck Britton. We are tied again. Adley just kind of knocks that fastball out into center field. Henderson it looked like he was almost trying to steal. He got a massive lead there. That was an excellent jump there by Gunnar, and he was well in there. Good relay throw, but Henderson, who is fired up, and rightfully so. We are tied. Alonso on the first pitch looks low on a slider in the dirt. Good voice crack there. I am excited. So we are all square once more. Great slide from Gunnar as well. Like perfect slide. Just perfect execution all around on that one. Henderson spikes the helmet in excitement. He is fired up. We need some angry Gunnar. We need some more of that Gunnar right now. Alonso looks well inside on a 4-seamer for ball 2. Adley trots back to second base. I don't expect Adley to steal. He's not exactly the fastest guy in the world, but with a righty in the batter's box, getting to third is easier than with a lefty. But anyway, Alonso looks at ball home. That is not a strike. Alonso, challenge that for the love of God. Like, that is so far out of the strike zone. You have ABS challenges. Come on, man. 2-1 on the count. Should be 3-0. Adam Mako, the Slovakian, is warming up in the bullpen for Blue Jays. There's strike 2. That one, I can agree, is a strike call on the slider there. So Alonso's in a 2-2 count now. 87 pitches now for Savage as Alonso takes his time. But Mako, who was the starter actually, or the opener, I should say, for the Blue Jays back last Friday in that bullpen game, normally a reliever, is warming. So the 88th pitch on the 2-2 count to Alonso with Adley at second. Swing and miss. Strike 3 on the slider below the zone. Again, that missed opportunity for a challenge does hurt there. Alonso's not usually been a guy to challenge too much as of late. So out number 2 there. We'll get a pitching coach visit for the Blue Jays. Mound visit, but not a pitching substitution at the moment. Interesting. Jeremiah Jackson is going to pinch hit for Samuel Basayo. I get Samuel Basayo is 0-2 or 0-2 on the night, and also, he's definitely not been seeing Savage well. And then also it's the DH spot, but interesting. I mean, hopefully it's also like Basayo's fine, like it's not an injury related, and this is just a matchup thing because you are pinch hitting a righty here. So hopefully it's nothing wrong with Basayo. That would really suck if he goes down with an injury. And it's, again, interesting that they're pinch hitting a righty here. Not really going for the matchups as Jackson on the first pitch knocks it into center field for an RBI single. So the pinch hit is going to work. That is a 4-3 ball game in favor of the Orioles. Jeremiah Jackson on the first pitch he sees, RBI single right up the middle. 99.7 off the bat, drives Adley Rutschman home. He's having a great day. Jeremiah Jackson on, looks like might have been a splitter almost. I think that was a splitter that hung up well too much, and Jackson just lines it basically right past Adley Rutschman's shoulder for the RBI single. Gives the Orioles the lead in this 3-run 6th inning. Kobe Mayo's up to bat. He will knock the first pitch foul behind home plate. So if that pinch hit was just, matchup wise, that was the correct button to press for Craig Alvarez. I hope it is. Hopefully it's not anything wrong with Samuel Basallo. Because again, he is just playing DH. Didn't see anything about it. So I don't know. Pick off at first base is not in time. Jeremiah Jackson is fine there. Haven't seen too much of Jeremiah Jackson as of late. But had a really nice hit there. So Kobe Mayo, who has last 16 games hitting .288, 3 doubles, 4 home runs, .950 OPS, reached safely in 15 of those 16 games. Pretty good stretch there for Kobe. He will knock this one high in the air, deep left field. Goodbye home run. Kobe Mayo makes this 6-3 on that moonshot of a home run. Oh my goodness. That ball was out of there. Wow. 8th home run of the season for Kobe. He destroyed that ball. It only says 396. I do not believe that at all. That felt like a 500-footer right there. That was destroyed. And that is going to do it for Trey Yesevich, who gives up 5 here in the top of the 6th. Not even through a full 6 innings there. Was cruising before and was not the case anymore. I mean, Adley Rutschman did him in. Kobe Mayo does him in as well. Wow. What a turn of events here. 6-3 Orioles. Yeah. They did it for us, Kevin. They did it for both of us. They got the backup for Brandon Young. He suddenly has run support. It's a miracle. Funnily enough, the Orioles still have less hits total than the Blue Jays. They only have 5. The Blue Jays have 6. But they're up 6-3. So a crazy inning for the Orioles here as they have exploded. Suddenly turns this game around. I've been missing that on stream. Orioles are schmovin'. Colton Cowser will be up to bat. Adam Macko will be on to pitch. And again, hopefully nothing's wrong with Samuel Basallo. That's like the only thing that I'm like a little worried about with that whole pinch hitting situation. Again, it was really awesome to see that Jeremiah Jackson hit the RBI single, but hopefully that was just playing a matchup thing just because Basallo wasn't hitting well. And yeah, the Orioles with 2 outs, as per usual, are doing pretty good. So I'm scrolling through Twitter trying to find anything on Basallo. Not seen anything yet. I've not heard anything on the broadcast either. My guess is going to take, a couple innings or so to hear that. I also haven't heard anything more on Dalton Varsho either, so we'll see. So, good night here for the good guys. Both in terms of the Orioles and Red Sox, since the Yankees are losing. But some clutch hitting there for the Orioles. And I guess my whole talking about runners in scoring position, it worked. They did it this time. It's a miracle. Kobe Mayo caps that rally off there with a moonshot of a homer. Again, I think that had to have been at least over 400 feet. Colton Cowser on the first pitch from Adam Macko takes, I think, ball 1. Looked like it was just a little high. Yeah, it was ball 1. So 9 games pitched for Adam Macko so far this season. There's strike 1 to Colton Cowser. The number 21 prospect for Toronto as well. Slider, four-seamer, changeup, and curveball, the lefty reliever. strike 2 on a slider that Cowser swings and misses on. And yeah, hopefully, Kevin, it is just matchup wise. The Cows are 0 for 2 on the night and a 1-2 hole at the moment. The Orioles with a 5-run, and technically counting still, 6th inning. Top of the 6th here. Cows on the 1-2 takes ball 2 on a slider below the zone. Mako, who was the starter on Friday, last stream. More the opener for a bullpen game. Former Oriole Austin Voth was the bulk reliever in that one. 2-2 to Cowser is knocked over into left field, but not really quite far enough. Hangs up there for Jesus Sanchez for out number 3. Cowser kind of just sliced that a little bit more than got good contact. But again, Orioles 5 runs here, completely flips the game around on its head. Makes it 6-3. Brandon Young suddenly has a 3-run lead after exiting that inning with a 2-run deficit. Now has a 3-run lead. So we'll be, I actually have no idea who it's going to be for the Blue Jays. I completely lost track there. Might be, I think it's going to be Pinango, Clement, and Sanchez, I think. Yeah, definitely. The crowd in Toronto has gotten significantly quieter, Kevin. I certainly agree, and it is nice. Anytime you can have a crowd silencer like that, it is awesome. So let's see if Brandon Young and the Orioles bullpen can buckle down and close out this win through these last 4 innings. As it was a very quick 4.5 innings. Then the bottom of the 5th, top of the 6th, it is significantly extended the runtime here. Let's go for a quick rest of the game, just like a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings, no more runs, just cruise into a 6-3 victory, for the Orioles. Would love that. We've had our excitement. Let's make sure no more. I mean, I love more excitement for the Orioles, no more for the Blue Jays. That's really what I'm trying to say. But, let's see if the score can hold. So O's, if Young can get a shutdown inning here, that would be awesome. My goodness, that Kobe Mayo home run was destroyed. Just watching the replay of that ball was out of there. Now to the next Final Fantasy VII game get announced. Tifa looks awesome. I don't know if I'll do Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on stream. I might play that just on my own. So I'm enjoying Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it's not my favorite so far. There's strike 1. Great fastball there at the bottom left corner to Yohendrick Pinango, who pinch hit for Dalton Varsho earlier in the game. Again, don't know what happened there. I haven't seen anything on Varsho yet. 0-1 is inside on a curveball for ball 1. Again, trying to figure out what happened with Dalton Varsho. So it might be some kind of discomfort related to Basayo. There was ball 2. Also back last Saturday during that, the out before the 5-run rally to win it for the Orioles on Saturday. Basayo did go down with like a weird tweak shoulder almost, but he played in game since, so might just be precautionary. Cowser gets the fly out there from Pinango for out number 1, shallow right field. So yeah, still haven't seen anything on Dalton Varsho. And I think it's precautionary injury-wise for Basayo as Ernie Clement fouls this first pitch back, and it looks like NBA Finals Game 2 is starting as well. I guess, yeah, the Knicks won Game 1, right? Yeah. They did. I have no allegiance to either team there. I mean, I'm not really a fan of any New York team, so I feel like I'm going more towards Spurs, but I just do not care about that. Not a basketball fan all that much, and I have no allegiance to either team. Just looking for some good basketball. Ball 1 to Ernie Clement as well. Fastball above the zone. Same with hockey, really. I have no real allegiance to either the Hurricanes or the Golden Knights. I feel like I'm kind of rooting for Carolina, though. Maybe. Clement will knock this one high in the air, but over into foul territory, up into the upper deck in foul territory. It falls all the way back down though, but very much a foul ball there for strike 2, 1 and 2 here. 80 pitches now for Brandon Young through 5 1/3 plus 4 extra. Next pitch to Clement is check swing. Does he go around? No. Just below the zone as well on the slider for ball 2. So 2-2 count instead. I'm curious, Kevin, and to any of those else who are watching. Are you basketball, hockey fans? Are you Knicks, Spurs, Canes, Knights fans, and anything like that? There is check swing on a slider. Does he go around? Yes, there is strikeout for Brandon Young on Ernie Clement. Cannot hold up on the swing there for the strikeout. Clement not happy about it. Sends him away, brings up Jesus Sanchez. Quick 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Also realize the box score is not updated all that much. Again, I'm not going to try and define what a swing is, but I'll take the strikeout. But a couple sliders below the zone get Ernie Clement thinking too much, and he goes around. Strike 1 on the fastball at the top of the zone to Jesus Sanchez, who's 0 for 2. So he is in an 0-1 count at the moment. Takes his time. The lefty, Jesus. It's like someone going up to Mount Olympus, you know. Hey, Zeus. I just also... I tried gesturing like a wave for an audio joke as Sanchez knocks this one over into right field. That is down for a base hit off the wall. Cowser throw into second. This is going to get there in time. Out on the base running attempt. So it was hit well too hard by Sanchez. Cowser plays it really well off the hop off the wall. So it was a single, but Cowser with a rocket arm from right field gets Sanchez out by a mile. Sanchez does not look like a fast runner either. So it is a single, then thrown out at second. The bounce was perfect off the wall, by the way, to Cowser, and Sanchez is out by so much. So it was a hit, but also an out in the end. So a shutdown inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Young as we go on to the 7th. I was trying to do a visual joke by like doing a wave because I do tend to gesture a lot when I speak, and I bumped my mic when I was doing it. But yeah, it's. Someone said, hey, yeah, it's you walking up to Olympus. It's, hey, Zeus. I know it's also Spanish for Jesus, and that's like a pretty common Spanish name. It is just the joke. But yeah, Cowser's definitely been for as much as he's been maligned for his on the plate struggles over the past year and a half, his defense is not one of them. I mean, he's made a couple mistakes here and there in the outfield, but he is overall a very good defensive outfielder. I was about to say center field, but he's actually playing right today. And certainly on that one, he made a great play. I mean, it really helped that the ball was hit too hard and it just ricocheted perfectly off the wall back to him. Like he didn't have to, he could build up momentum pretty much, and didn't look like Sanchez was that fast of a runner. So pretty nice bit of work there for the Orioles to get out of the 6th with nothing. Let's see. I guess there was that PlayStation State of Play was like a couple days ago. Didn't wind up watching it, but I heard it was pretty good. I know that the new God of War game is like a little. Some people are having issues with it, but I have not played any. Actually, I haven't played any God of War game at all. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Feels like they just. I mean, they had one like back in February, I guess, or March, whatever. Yeah, I agree, Kevin. I think, I mean, Cowser's only been in the league since like 2024, I think. Ball 2 here to Tavares from Mako, who Tavares switched over to the right side. Because I think Cowser, when he debuted, it was like April of 2024. I don't know if he was on the 2023 team. Like maybe he came up like right at the end. Tavares swings through a slider there for strike 1. But so he's still, and he obviously missed like half of the season last year. So he's only really played in like 2 full seasons really at most, so it's not like he has a ton of experience. Time called by Tavares, I think, looks of it. I think. I'm pretty sure they called time there. But yeah, And Cowser, he's still young, and he's made some rookie mistakes here and there, but he's getting better. You give these guys some time, I think. Tavares check swing, does not go around. Ball 3 on the slider inside. So 3-1 count here for Tavares against the relief pitcher Adam Macko. Orioles with their 6-3 lead after scoring 5 the previous inning. So Tavares swings, cuts under a fastball, foul tips it back into the glove of Valenzuela for strike 2. Guess we got video showing up for on the box score this time around. That's new. Don't usually see that. So the full count to Tavares is low for ball 4. Just the 3rd walk of the night for the Orioles. Gets the leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning. So it will be Jackson Holliday, who walked last time he was up. Or no. It's saying he's not, but no, he doubled last time he was up. Sorry. It was Henderson who walked. Holliday doubled last time he was up, which was in that last inning. Looks at ball 1 on a slider below the zone. So Connor Siebold, who we saw last week as well on the stream, is warming in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. And also saw 2 weeks ago for the Tigers on stream as well. Holliday takes inside with a slider 2-0. Would be really nice here for the Orioles to actually, put up another crooked inning just to get to the Blue Jays bullpen and tire it out, since this is game 1 of the series. Would be pretty nice. And they're in a good spot at the moment with how they're pitching. Holliday takes ball, strike 1 called. Should have been ball 3, but it was just outside of the zone. Again, Orioles not very aggressive with their ABS challenges. Probably should be a bit more aggressive, but again, they're winning 6-3, so I can only complain so much. The 2-1 to Holliday. There's strike 2, fastball at the bottom of the zone. That one's certainly a strike. So Holliday steps back to take his time. John Schneider is, I think, growing more red over this past couple innings. He always seems to just randomly get really red in the face. I don't know why, but I'm sure he is not happy with his team's performance over this past inning and a half. The 2-2 now to Jackson Holliday. 1 on, nobody out. Holliday swings through a slider there for strike 3. So he goes down with his 2nd strikeout, actually, of the night. So the lack of the ABS challenge from Holliday does kind of do him in there. That slider that he swings at was pretty close to that one that he did not try to... That was called a strike earlier. Taylor Ward, who's 0 for 3, is now batting for the 4th time. Gets to see someone else besides Trey Savage for once. Takes strike 1 on a knuckle curve. Kind of a loopy knuckle curve rather than a vertical one. So Ward struck out looking, struck out swinging, and also grounded out his first time up. And yeah, he definitely turns into a tomato, Kevin. I don't know why. He does that. And I think also, I don't know. Hang on. I think there's actually a stream delay for me on here. I don't know why. Let me check. Stream. See if there's a stream delay. 1-1-2. Ward takes all the way for strike 2. Let's see. I feel like I remember there being a stream delay setting on here. I'm going to see if I can find that. Output. No, not output. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Ward on the 1-2 takes just outside on the curveball for ball 2. Yeah, it's a good contrast, his face fits in with the red accents of the Blue Jays uniform, it really fills it out. I can only make fun of him so much. I mean, he's managing a Major League Baseball team. That's pretty cool. Ward chops this one foul on the changeup. Let's see, is it under advanced maybe? Stream delay. No, it's not enabled. Okay, so it should be fine. I think it's just, there might just be a natural delay involved. I don't know. Just for chat purposes, I think there's just a natural delay. Anyway, Ward 2-2 count at the moment. Leody Taveras still at first base after the walk. Yeah. I don't know if Blue Jays fans would agree with you, Kevin. I mean, I agree that he's a pretty good manager, but I think a lot of Blue Jays fans really do not like him. Throw to first base is not in time. Like I've definitely ranged over to Blue Jays Twitter and Reddit on occasion just to check and see how they're doing, and a lot of them really do not like John Schneider, and they have not liked him for a few years now. I think that looks like Grant Wolfram warming in the bullpen for the Orioles, or like getting set to warm the bullpen at least. Ward chops this one foul. Taveras was looking to steal, so he has to go back to first base. Still 2-2. Ward looking for his first hit or reach base tonight. Yeah, I mean, Blue Jays are definitely a bit injury prone this year. I mean, his bullpen decisions aren't always the greatest, but I think Blue Jays fans would know more than us. 2-2 to Ward. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on the slider. So 3 strikeout night for Ward. Pretty unlike him. So 2 down now after the leadoff walk from Taveras. Brings up Gunnar Henderson. There's a good slider there. Just kind of gets Ward twisted up a little bit. So not his night here. But the Orioles have done their job at the moment. We'll see if the... and I don't know if Brandon Young's going to pitch in the 7th and all, but see if the bullpen and potentially Brandon Young can bring it home for the O's here. There's a moth or something in my room now. Henderson on the first pitch just gets a little bit late on that fastball. Strike 1. Swings and misses. Walked the last time he was up and then was driven home by Adley Rutschman's RBI double. 2 RBI double, I should specify. To really, break that or tie the game up and then eventually get it open later on. Henderson looks at ball 1 on a slider outside. So walked in a full count after going 0 for 2 before that. And that crucial top of the 6th of the Orioles. So Henderson in the 1-1 at the moment. Will foul this one away on the fastball. So he will go now in the 1-2 count. I think Taveras might have been trying to steal again. Always a guy that likes to dance around, as I said before. Surprised he's stuck at first base for as long as he has. So the 1-2 to Henderson now is chopped foul on the slider. So we will go again. Right abdominal discomfort for Samuel Basayo, unfortunately. So my guess is we won't see him for a couple days at least. Hopefully it's nothing major. Probably might see some Sam Huff then, I guess, if they're... Well, they would have to put on the injury list then. Henderson takes inside on the curveball for ball 2. So let's hope we don't see Sam Huff. Let's just hope that Basayo is only down for a couple days. And Adley can hold down the fort behind home plate in the meantime. So an unfortunate pinch hit there, but a successful one for Jeremiah Jackson as Henderson fouls that slider off there. We stay at 2-2. Mako up to 29 pitches now in relief. My guess is he's going to handle it. Well, I guess he's going to just kind of handle the rest of this inning unless it gets really out of hand. But hopefully the O's can kind of get to more of the Blue Jays bullpen as we go on. The 2-2 again to Gunnar Henderson. Lefty on lefty matchup at the moment. Henderson swings and misses. Strike 3 on the slider below the zone. He fires the bat away. So a couple strikeouts for Adam Mako after the leadoff walk. Still a 6-3 game here as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Don't know if Brandon Young is going to stay on the pitch. It will be Cosmo Okamoto, Andres Jimenez, and Brandon Valenzuela to bat. Can maybe see Young pitch like to just Okamoto, maybe? Though even then, Okamoto is 2 for 2 against him, so they might just take him out. Anyway, I'm actually going to be right back real quick. I'm just going to walk downstairs and get some water. So I'll be back in like 30 seconds or so. All right, I'm back. Always got to stay hydrated, kids. It's good for you. Water's nice. Yeah, I can definitely see them going to the bullpen here, Kevin. It looked like Grant Wolfram was morning, and he's been more of a higher leverage guy than not this season. So they might go Wolfram, Cano, and Garcia for the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, which is not a bad lineup, honestly. So hopefully, if that is the case, we can just see those guys give up no runs, and we keep this. Maybe even more runs to the Orioles would be nice, but let's keep the Blue Jays score at 3. That would be cool. So the bottom of the lineup for the Blue Jays, which did get a couple hits off of Brandon Young, though none of them actually. Valenzuela did homer last time he was up, so Young is still out there to pitch for the moment. So my guess is, unless we have a super quick 7th, I don't think we'll see much, as Okamoto grounds the first pitch over to Kobe Mayo. This is a good start. And a bit of a low throw, but fielded very well by a very good defensively Pete Alonso for 1 pitch, 1 out. 85 pitches now for Brandon Young. Gets Okamoto out for the first time tonight. Mayo with a good field. The throw was just a little low, but Alonso with a good pick for the out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And I think that is going to be it for Brandon Young's night. So Young goes 6 1/3, gives up 3 runs. Still a quality start. 7 hits total. So 86 pitches, I think, for Young. So I think with Andres Jimenez coming up, interesting that they take him out for Andres Jimenez, who's only 1 for 2 against him. But no, I think just kind of, I don't know, for whatever. Maybe they're seeing something there. Obviously, it worked there. They got Okamoto out in 1 pitch. But I believe it'll be Grant Wolfram coming on to pitch. Maybe it also was because Okamoto, Okamoto's a righty. Maybe Jimenez and Valenzuela, they might be lefties. But yeah, Young with another really nice outing. I mean, they had 3 runs, isn't the best in the world, but O's offense certainly helped him out there. And when they needed some shutdown innings, Young has gotten it for them. So certainly won't complain about the start at all. And really just got tagged up by that 1-2 run home run. That was really the only mistake on that hanging slider. Let's bring up the Wolfman stats. Again, I'm pretty sure he's the one. So the lefty reliever throws a sinker, sweeper, curveball, 4-seamer, and slider. Mostly throws that sinker 43% of the time. Sweeper and curveball 17, 15%, 4-seamer 15%, slider 9%. Spend a little bit of time on the injured list. Against lefties, throws a little bit of everything, but mostly the sinker, sweeper, and a bit of the slider. Does not throw the slider at all to righties. Does not throw the sweeper really much at all to righties either. So 20 games pitched, 3.78 ERA, 16.2 innings, 1.44 whip, opponents hitting 319, 12.4 strikeouts per 9, 0.5 walks per 9. So not a guy who walks a ton. I think there was actually a point where he basically gone most of his appearances without issuing a walk. It's pretty interesting. There's ball 1 to Andres Jimenez, and it is a lefty-lefty matchup for the moment. So I think Albie was just trying to play lefty on righty matchups there with Young the righty against Okamoto the righty. Now it is Wolfram the lefty against Jimenez the lefty. This one is swung on a miss on a sinker at the top of the zone. Strike 1. So yeah, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts for Brandon Young. 75.3 strike rate, highest of his career as well. He was pounding the strike zone, was Brandon Young. 1-1 to Jimenez is grounded 2, drawn in Kobe Mayo. This will be out number 2 on the ground out. Good bit of defense there from Kobe, who was playing well in, but in the right spot. Young and Kyle Bradish chatting with each other. Bradish, I believe, should be starting tomorrow for the Orioles. So 3 pitches, 1 out for Wolfram. There are 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Brings up the home run hitter, Brandon Valenzuela, who is a righty. Actually, I think he's just a righty. I don't know if he's a switcher or not. Knocks this curveball foul for ball one. Well, I think I just heard he is a switch hitter, so yeah, okay. So there's no matchup he can play against Valenzuela then as a switch hitter. The 0-1 is swung on a miss, strike two on the foul ball. Or sorry, not foul, on the fastball. That's what it was, above the zone. I don't think it was fouled. I think it was just swung on a miss, but either way, it's strike two. 0-2 count for Wolfram. Don't know if we'll see if Wolfram's able to get out here. Don't know if we'll see him in the 8th or not. Or if it'll just be like Yennier Cano. Because Rico Garcia is currently the closer. And Valenzuela knocks this one over to Gunnar Henderson at short. On a hop, he throws over to first base in time for the 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th inning between Brandon Young and Grant Wolfram. The Orioles bullpen doing their job at the moment. Rutschman, Alonso, and Jackson are up to bat in the top of the 8th. But yeah, actually, I think Ryan Helsley is actually going to be returning sooner rather than later. He was throwing in the bullpen, actually. I think I saw earlier today. So pretty soon, I think, Helsley is going to return, which would be really nice for the Orioles bullpen, since Helsley was doing good before he went down with an injury, like shoulder inflammation or whatever it was. And yeah, it unfortunately forced, Rico to go to really the closer spot, and like just really lack of a setup man for the Orioles for a while. Like it just kind of scrambled like Cano occasionally, but he's been good, but might not be the setup man you want. Wolfram been there occasionally. I think Kittredge they've tried to use as a setup man on occasion, but with Helsley back and Rico Garcia as the setup man, that's a really good 1-2 punch there in the bullpen. But yeah, great shutdown inning, exactly what the doctor ordered. See if the offense can do a bit more here. Just watching the replay of Gunnar slide at home plate was, it was good. But hopefully, at least, Messiah's going to be okay. Because really, that's the only thing that's been kind of going bad for the Orioles right now is the Basayo injury. Nintendo, I beg of you, please announce a direct for next week. That I was thinking about that too, Kevin. I think maybe they might. I don't know if they'll ease Helsley back into the role. Like I don't know if they'll just throw him right back into the 9th. Just because Rico Garcia has been so good, but I mean, like I think I'll just probably want to see like maybe they might throw him in one time, like not in the 9th, see if he's still pitching well, and then they might throw him back because they brought him in to be the closer, and he's a very good closer. I don't know, because it is hard given how good Rico Garcia is pitching at the moment. Rutschman takes ball one from Connor Siebold. So Rutschman, who's having a great day, home run, double, and a walk. 3 RBIs so far. Also scored twice. Ball 2 on a fastball just outside. 4-seam, changeup, slider, and cutter for Siebold. Former Tiger this season as well. Was the game-losing pitcher in the end. Well, technically it was Hoffman who got the loss, but he was the guy who gave up the walk-off single to Pete Alonso back on Saturday. Throws strike one to Rutschman there. No swing. So Rutschman with a really good night at the plate will knock this one high and foul. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, Kevin, with Helsley. But I wouldn't be, shocked to see them keep Garcia in the closer role with how good he's been pitching, but I wouldn't be shocked either if Helsley goes back to the closer role and Garcia goes back to being the setup man. Either way, it's a great twosome to have there in the bullpen. Rutschman scoops this one out into shallow center field. That will get down for a base hit. What a hit there from Rutschman, playing golf there for a center field single. He is 3 for 3 on the day. On base for the first time. Orioles with the leadoff man on for 3 innings in a row now. So Pete Alonso is up to bat. He is unfortunately 0 for 3 on the night, but did have, again, off of Connor Siebold, did have that walk-off single. So he's got something at least. Let's see if Alonso can get on the hit category here. Takes ball 1 outside. And yeah, if Adley can keep hitting like that for the next, couple months, you could see him in the All-Star game. He's been playing really well. We love that from Adley. So Alonso in the 1-0 count at the moment against Connor Siebold, righty-on-righty matchup. Takes strike 1 on a fastball right in the middle of the zone. That's definitely one you could swing at, but I think Alonso's fine being patient at the moment. Goes comfortable in the driver's seat right now, but we've seen the Blue Jays come back. We unfortunately saw that last week on stream, but with the 8th here, well, let's hope the O's can hold on here. There's another fastball in the zone taken. So I would like Alonso to, swing the bat there and get a hit. But let's knock on wood, do everything. Let's have the O's win here. Let's have an Orioles win. Time called by Alonso. I think he just wants to reset himself a little bit. Not his best night, unfortunately, for Pete. Let's see. The one hit could certainly change his attitude. Wouldn't mind one here. Just get a little single, honestly. That'd be okay. That slider is yanked out of there for ball 2. Nowhere close. Good pick, at least, by Brandon Valenzuela to prevent a wild pitch. Yennier Cano is, in fact, warming in the bullpen as he's kind of slotted himself into the pseudo setup man with Helsley down and Garcia into the closer role. And Cano's been pretty good this season. Didn't have a great game last Friday, but overall he's been good. Alonso will kind of fist this one out into shallow center field. Then it's going to dump down for a base hit. I think Adley's just going to run all the way over to third. Does not care about anyone in the outfield right now. Adley with a great bit of base running there. Alonso wasn't exactly pretty. Just kind of knocked that off the inside part of the bat, but blooped into a little bit of a single. So a couple bloop singles here for the Orioles in the top of the 8th against Connor Siebold. 2 out, nobody on, runners at the corners. And that was a 4-seamer up by the hands almost, outside of the zone. But a single nonetheless. Alonso's first hit. He's on the board for tonight. It's nearly everyone in the Orioles lineup with a hit, or at least has reached base. Everyone except for Ward and Cowser, and technically Basayo, but we're not really counting him. Jeremiah Jackson, who had that crucial RBI single back in the 6th inning, the current game-winning, let's hope it stays game-winning, RBI single. After having to come in for the injured Samuel Basayo, who is dealing with abdominal discomfort. Takes ball 2 on a slider below. So another RBI here would be awesome also. Just keep pouring it on, O's. Would love that. But Jackson, who's been up and down this season, has not been. He's hitting 250. He's been seeing a lot less of him as of late with Jackson Holiday back. But still been a nice piece. Check swing. Does he go around? I think it's just called a strike anyway on the slider at the bottom of the zone. So it's 2-1. But still not a bad. It's a couple grand slams already. Not an opportunity for a grand slam here with only 2 on. But he's been a nice find. It was really good early in the season. And Jackson lines this one over into center field. That is an RBI single. 2 in a row for Jeremiah. Makes it 7-3. First and second now, 2 outs. Just smacked right back up the middle. Both of his, honestly, have been pretty much the exact same spot. So 2 for 2 day with a pair of RBIs for Jeremiah Jackson. 105 off the bat. So there's your exit velocity. That was just like a hanging slider, maybe hanging something there. It was not ideal. maybe even a hanging changeup. Something that was not in the location I think Seabold wanted that to be. And Jackson took advantage of it. So we'll bring up Kobe Mayo, who homered his last time up, to deep left field. Now with a chance to just completely break this game open. That would be really crazy. But again, the recently engaged Kobe Mayo, who's been on an absolute tear as of late. 2 on, nobody out here. Top of the 8th, O's up 7-3. Looking to do more as they are leading here in the first of 3 against Toronto in Toronto. Looking to take game 1 and slot into a wildcard spot in the American League as well. And usurp Toronto for 3rd place in the division. Mayo looks outside on a slider for ball 1. Good take. And again, Kobe, like Colton Cowser, and even more so for Kobe Mayo, he's only been in the league for like a year and a half at most. He's still pretty much a rookie. And he takes a ball over his head. That one just got completely slipped away from Seabold. And runners will advance on the wild pitch. Mayo not exactly happy about that. He had to duck cover there. And that ball just, I doubt it was intentional. I mean, if it was, that was just a scummy move. But I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just, the ball just completely slipped out of his hands. Because that was behind Kobe Mayo's head. And that was just like up and away. Kind of dislodged part of that padding behind home plate as well. Like almost hit his bat from like where it's resting on his shoulder. It was that poor of a pitch. So a wild 2-0 run advances to the advances the runners to 2nd and 3rd. First base is open. Still nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Single could potentially score 2 more. Mayo chops this one in the infield. Throw will be going home, and that will get Pete Alonso out at home. So an fielder's choice brings Kobe Mayo to first base and gets the out at home. Sends Jeremiah Jackson over to 3rd. So unfortunate there. So Alonso was going on contact. Good play there by the shortstop Jimenez to get Alonso out. Jimenez was definitely playing in as well. And I think if Alonso was a little faster, he might have been able to beat it out, but he's not exactly the fastest guy. So unfortunate there. Still 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Brings up Colton Cowser, who's looking for his first hit of the night. He's flied out a couple times to left and is also grounded out. Would certainly love a hit here from Colton. Get his first hit of the night. Get him warmed up. So Cowser on the first pitch will look below. We get a steal attempt, I think. Maybe? It might have been a attempted steal, and then nothing in the end. Kobe Mayo stays at first. Ball 1 on a, looked like a changeup below the zone. Valenzuela popped up, looked like he was trying to throw to second, but I think Kobe Mayo danced back to first base. And I think that was a changeup that was below the zone. So not good for Cowser. That Seabold here has a changeup. But 1-0 at the moment. Cowser squares to bunt. That pitch is high. Back pick attempt almost. Valenzuela pops up again. But no throw. Just kind of chases Jeremiah Jackson back to 3rd. 2-0 count on the changeup high. Interesting that Cowser was squaring to bunt. So Mayo at first. Jackson at 3rd. 1 out. 7-3 game. So no longer a save situation for the O's. Cowser knocks this one over into right center field on a changeup. RBI single for Colton Cowser on his first hit of the day. Let's go! Cowser hits the changeup. It's 8-3 Orioles, 1st and 3rd again. Mayo goes 1st to 3rd. It is 8-3. Cowser with his first hit. Repeating myself because I'm just happy. 111 off the bat, almost 112. Changeup right at the bottom of the zone, even maybe a little under the zone. Cowser just scoops that on out of there, rockets it over into right center. Orioles put on 2 more and counting here in the top of the 8th. Brings up Leody Taveras, who's actually looking for his first hit as well. He's 0 for 2, but he does have a walk. Got stranded his last time up. Chops this first pitch slider foul. So good night. After a bad night offensively for the Orioles outside of Adley Rutschman, it has suddenly turned into a good night. Just took a couple innings, and they found their groove. Orioles are they've been a team this season for a lot of the time. Early on, they've definitely struggled to score runs, but later on in the game, they've been pretty good. As Ferris chops this one up the right first base side, he will get thrown at first, but will drive in a run. So it's an RBI fielder's choice, 9-3 for the Orioles. Also advances Cowser to second base. So a productive out there, RBI for Tavares, though not a hit. I'll certainly take the run, though. So 3 here for the O's in the top of the 8th. I think I might have heard some boo there in Rogers Center as well. They are putting it to the Jays. We love that. John Schneider's turning more and more into a tomato, sorry, not a potato. He's turning more and more red. Jackson Holliday's up. He's 1 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. With Colton Cowser at second. Connor Siebold's still on to pitch. First pitch is just upstairs with a changeup for ball 1. So Holliday double and 2 strikeout swingings. Or strikeouts swinging. That's the correct grammatical term. See if we can get another knock here, make it 10-3. That'll be even better. Holliday swings and misses on a 4-seamer for strike 1. Yeah, it's like obviously the 2 homers from Adley and Kevin have been good, but it's been a lot of it's been knocks with runners in scoring position, which has been something the Orioles have struggled with a lot this season. That has been awesome to see. Holliday in the 1-1 knocks this over foul into left. But at this point, might not even see Ian Cano given the 6-run lead. It could see like maybe Kittredge or something like that, or Aiken or someone. Yeah. Orioles with runners in scoring position this season versus the Blue Jays. First 2 games, 0 for 10. Next 3 games, I guess, 11 for 26. Holliday grounds this one over to second. That will be out number 3, but not before the Orioles score 3 more in the top of the 8th to extend their lead, make this game much more comfortable. They now have 9 hits on the night, 3 left on base. Both teams with 3 left on base. Blue Jays 7 hits. Orioles offense has been very good these past few innings. So might not even, we could just see Grant Wolfram even more. Might go for Cano. Could go for Aiken. Just don't need to burn a high leverage reliever here at the moment, given the score. But obviously, I don't know why Aiken's still on the roster, if I'm being honest. I don't know. But I think what they're going to go with, they're going to go with Anthony Nunez. That is my guess is who they're going to go for. If I were a betting man, my bet is Anthony Nunez here in the bottom of the 8th with the 6-run lead. Since he was a little bit the setup man because he had a really good April, but has struggled a good bit since. We'll see if they go with him here. Or whoever they want it. Maybe they do just go with Cano. I don't know. So, all right, let's check the scoreboard once more. Over in basketball, San Antonio leads New York 37-30. 10 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Baseball-wise, though, the Red Sox are up 5-3 going into the bottom of the 9th against the Yankees. Spencer Jones, Anthony Volpe, and Ryan McMahon up to bat there. My guess is Aroldis Chapman is going to go on for the save. O's obviously up 9-3. Phillies up 8-6 over the White Sox. So that's a pretty high-scoring game there. White Sox actually did tie it up, but the Phillies have gotten a couple since. Tigers up 7-3 over the Mariners, so Tigers going on a bit of a run as of late. Rays up 6-0 over the Marlins. Braves up 6-3 over the Pirates. Astros up 5-0 over the A's. Cardinals and Reds tied at 3 apiece. Guardians up 2-0 over the Rangers. Royals and Twins still delayed. And then Rockies and Brewers tied at 1 apiece. It is, in fact, going to be Yennier Cano up to pitch, so I guess they're just going with him no matter what. So I'm fine with this. I don't mind it. I know Cano is more like he's more of a higher leverage guy than some of the others, but I'm fine with this in the 6-run game. There is sinker just inside for ball 1 to George Springer, who's 2 for 2. Also advanced on catcher's interference last time he was up. On the lone error the Orioles have committed. So the first run scorer for the Blue Jays was Springer as he takes strike one on a sinker at the bottom of the zone. Led off his team with a double back in the bottom of the first. But things have certainly changed since then. There's a slider outside for ball 2. See if Cano can have a nice bit of performance here, set it up for whoever they want to pitch in the 9th. But Cano, sinker, splitter, slider, and four seam. There's a sinker there for ball 3. Springer in line for the first walk of the Blue Jays tonight. Brandon Young did not issue a walk through his 6 1/3 pitch. Wolfram not in the 2/3 of an inning he pitched. Instead, Springer will ground this one or chop it over to Jackson Holliday at second. He will now finally be out for the first time tonight. That is out number 1 on the ground out. Nathan Lukes up to bat next. He is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. All 3 of those came against Grant Wolfram, so I'm pretty sure he's happy to see, not Grant Wolfram, against Brandon Young. I'm sure he's happy to see that Brandon Young is no longer present in the game. Struck out looking last time he was up on a really nasty sinker. There is a sinker from Yennier Cano, but that was well outside. So Cano is actually pretty tall, I think. I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4". I just remember like the one time I saw him, like, not in person, but like saw a video of him. It was like he was standing next to Felix Bautista, so he just looked tiny. But he is 6'4". There's another sinker outside. Like, Cano's a big dude. He's 6'4", 245. Doesn't look like it at times, but he does have a presence to him. A lot of horizontal action on his pitches. Loves spinning things around with that sinker and the splitter. And also the slider as well. Slider tends to go the other direction. There is a sinker there. Nice pitch there to catch the inside part of the zone for strike 1. Just barely clips it. But the sinker and the splitter goes a bit more down. Sinker goes a lot across. There's a lot of horizontal break to that sinker. The slider breaks a little bit more glove side as Lucas fouls that one off for strike 2. More so if you're looking at it from, behind, like you're watching the normal camera, Cano pitching righty. His slider breaks to the left a little bit. The sinker fades away to the right a lot. That's kind of how it goes. And then the fastball is a bit more straight on, but he throws the sinker the most. A lot of like just spinning it sideways as Lucas just barely gets a piece of that splitter to stay alive here at 2-2. The splitter has a similar overall look to it. I think it like has a bit more vertical drop, but still has a lot of horizontal movement because he's a sidearm delivery, does Cano. So even with the split finger grip, he's still throwing it to the side. There's a slider that actually kind of breaks out and around a little bit, but outside for ball 3, so it's a full count. We actually get the first challenge here, I think, from Adley Rutschman. So there's a lot of challenges or pitches the Orioles could have challenged this game that would have gone their way. This is not one of them. This one was well outside. An inch and a half outside. Don't know if it was Cano or Rutschman who challenged. Might have been Cano, actually. But the Orioles lose their challenge there. One of the few things they have not done well so far tonight is ABS challenges. We've not seen... It's actually the first ABS challenge we've seen from either team tonight. On the 3-2, chopped right back to go over his glove a little bit, but Gunnar Henderson defending it well behind second base, throws Nathan Lucas out at first. He's 0 for 4. 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. We'll bring up Vlad Guerrero Jr. And they're showing a replay of Craig Alvarez. I think he was a little surprised and a little getting a good chuckle out of the poor ABS challenge from the Orioles there. But Guerrero, who is 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Again, the failed ABS challenge doesn't hurt them too much in the end, as Lucas does ground out. Strike 1 to Guerrero on the sinker at the bottom of the zone. Cano is definitely a ground ball type of pitcher with all of his pitches pretty much living low in the zone. When he misses, they're high and they get hit for homers as Guerrero pops this one foul, not chops it. Knocks it foul and out of play, 0-2. Yeah, especially last year when Cano was not on his game at all. He was leaving a lot of pitches up more and getting a lot of them hit for like high, far, deep for homers, doubles, and all that. When he's on his game, like he has been a lot this season, as that pitch is outside for ball 1. when he's been on his game, especially in 2023 when he was an all-star, he's got a lot of stuff low in the zone. The command's been pretty good. He's got a lot of swings and misses and a ton of ground balls. 1-2 count at the moment against Vladdy, who does hit a lot of ground balls this season. Said he pops this one up, but not very far. Vlad slams his bat. This one's not going to get past the infield, and Gunnar Henderson completes the out there. Holiday mimics him right next to him. So a 1-2-3 there for Yennier Cano in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the last inning, hopefully, of the game. As the Orioles carry their 6-run lead into the 9th. Should be, who is up to bat? Might be Taylor Ward, actually, I think. Yeah, Taylor Ward, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. I think it should be the top of the order against, maybe still Connor Seabold? I don't know. Someone from the Blue Jays bullpen. Might still be Connor Seabold, might be someone else. Don't know if the Blue Jays want to burn another reliever or not. But O's looking to maybe do some more damage, Even still, this is a very good offensive showcase for the Orioles tonight with runners in scoring position. Yep, as you say, Kevin, all the Orioles need 3 more outs, and hopefully not 6 runs in between them from the Blue Jays. Like, even if they give up 1, that's fine. But let's just make sure this is a win. I would like to see a win for the Orioles. It would be great. Let's see. Yankees, do they lose? Oh no. Oh, it's a little dicey at the moment. Runners on first and second. Oh, now it's 2 outs. Okay, we got a pop out from Jose Caballero. I'm actually gonna call this a little bit from the ESPN Gamecast. Trent Grisham's up to bat. I think he already had. Yeah, he did a home run did a homer his last time up. He's got Ahmed Rosario and Max Schumann on base. Aroldis Chapman is pitching for the Red Sox there. Completely revamped himself, did Aroldis Chapman last season. Had a really great season last year for the Red Sox. Because apparently, for the first time in his career, he was actually told to, locate his pitches. He wasn't just throwing in the general direction of the home plate. He was actually getting direction on where to throw, and it turned him into one of the best relievers in baseball. I heard that story. It was very funny. All right, so ball 1 from Chapman. Who's 2 walks and a couple outs as well. Also struck out Anthony Volpe, I think, on 3 pitches. So ball 1 to Grisham there. Yariel Rodriguez is on to pitch for the Blue Jays in the meantime. And that will be a ground out there for Grisham to first base. So the Yankees lose 5-3. We love that. So I can go back to Rodriguez against Taylor Ward, who's 0-for-4 with 3 strikeouts on the night. Rodriguez throws ball 1 on a slider well outside. So let's go baseball savant. What do you say about Yariel Rodriguez? I don't know anything about him too much. He throws a slider, splitter, 4-seamer, and sinker. Not much there on the savant page in terms of the graphs and stuff. Ball 2 outside on the slider. Loves throwing that slider to righties. Throws it 54% of the time. 9 games so far this season, a 6.23 ERA, so pretty much a low leverage guy there. That Ward will chop this sinker foul. That's the second most used pitch against righties. Let's see. If I go to, I don't know, Yariel Rodriguez, because the name sounds slightly familiar, but I don't know why. It's just been on the Blue Jays since 2024, so I guess that's just it then. Wasn't sure if he was traded anywhere or something, but Ward kind of pops this one over into shallow right. That is going to get down actually for a base hit. So Ward, with his first hit of the night, comes in the 9th inning. He is 1-for-4. So Ward, as per usual, finds his way on base. No, it took a little while. Gotta love that. That should be everyone except for Leody Taveras, and again, giving the asterisk to Samuel Basayo because he had to depart with injury. I guess Gunnar also doesn't have a hit either, but he does have a walk. But mostly everyone, as Gunnar takes a fastball inside by the hands. But most of the starting lineup, that's 7 of 9 now for the O's lineup, have gotten hits tonight. But Gunnar is 0-for-3 with a walk. Let's see if we can find his first hit tonight as well against the righty Rodriguez. Henderson will chop this one over through the right field side for a base hit. There it is. Past an attempt by Vlad Guerrero Jr., but was not the case there. Hard chopper there, kind of ground ball. So first and third, nobody out here in the top of the ninth. Ward advances all the way around. Looks like that was a slider, I think, that hung up a little bit. Henderson rolls that one over, and Guerrero just not quite able to get over there in time for the play. The Orioles doing a good job at hitting tonight, especially like not even for the big hits. Obviously, the big hits have been nice, but just hitting singles. They've been really good at hitting singles. So Rutschman back up to the plate. He has reached base all 4 times. Knocks this one over into right field. He's got a 4-for-4 day. There's a double for Adley. That's going to drive in at least one. Henderson's might be ranging around. I'm not quite sure. He will get home. So that is another 2 RBI double for Adley Rutschman. 4-for-4 day with a walk. Orioles now 11-3. Yeah, I agree. Save some for tomorrow. Orioles exploding here in these last couple innings. Again, they had 1 run and only 1 hit through 5 innings. But on a splitter there that just not even like really hangs up. It was on the bottom of the zone, but Adley is just having a great day. You can't get anything by him right now. Hits another double. Another few RBIs there for Adley. He's all smiles. 6th career 4-hit game for Adley Rutschman makes it 11-3 and counting. As the Orioles, they were down 3-1 after the bottom of the 5th. They are now up 11-3. So Alonso, who's 1-for-4, got his first hit last time he was up. We'll look at ball 2 on a slider. Oh, that is called strike 1. Okay, sure. I think the Orioles dugout was trying to hope that Adley was going to go for a triple because he was a triple away from the cycle. He just stopped at second. So ball 2 now officially on the fastball well inside. Yeah, I think after that stinker they put up last Friday, the O's have decided to really just make sure the Blue Jays pay. They've been playing them pretty well. They're crushing them tonight. Let's hope they can continue the momentum going forward. They obviously crushed the Red Sox yesterday. 3-1 now to Alonso. But this offense approach, I absolutely love. Like, they're not really swinging for the fences. The home runs do come on occasion, but, just hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting it to where they're not. I love it. Alonso on the 3-1 takes strike 2. Thought it was a little outside. That one, actually, I agree, was a strike. So a full count now for Pete. So Adley with a fantastic day. Got probably close to like 20 points at this point in fantasy, right? He's just destroying it. Alvy's talking with Kobe Mayo, I think is in the hole at the moment. As Alonso will chop this one foul. Adley's up to 18 points now. Could potentially score a 19th if he's able to be driven home. But Mayo is, he had really, not the big hit, but one of the big hits as he made it 6-3 with his homer. Adley's had all the big hits, but he had the one that tied it up again as Alonso knocks this one foul again. But, because it was, Holiday had the double, Henderson walked, Adley with the 2 RBI double, Jeremiah Jackson with the RBI single, then Kobe Mayo with the 2-run home run. It's been a little bit of everyone, but especially Adley Rutschman. Alonso on the 3-2 takes inside for ball 4. There we go. Sinker that just ran in by the knees. So 2 out, nobody on, as Yariel Rodriguez is proving why he has a 6+ ERA and climbing at the moment. We'll bring up Jeremiah Jackson, who is 2 for 2 with a couple RBI singles. Let's see if we can make it 3 for 3 with another RBI single. As the Orioles looking to just completely blow this game away. Jackson on the first pitch skies it on a sinker that was well above the zone into shallow center field. That is Andres Jimenez making out number 1. Jackson probably a little too greedy there. But still very comfortable lead here for the Orioles as Kobe Mayo trots up. Well, more walks up. He is 1 for 4 with that 2-run home run. Also had an RBI fielder's choice his last time he was up to make it, I think at that point, 9-3. Grounded out and fouled out his first 2 times. First pitch to Mayo is inside on a sinker for ball 1. After Kobe, unless we have a double play here, it would be Colton Cowser, who is 1 for 4. Singled on a changeup last time he was up. So Mayo, in the 1-0 count at the moment, will take, I think, slight foul tip maybe. He might have swung the bat a little bit. Strike 1. I think it was in the zone anyway. So it was, no matter what, going to be a strike. But Adley's at second. Alonso's at first. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. 19th pitch coming from Gabriel Rodriguez. Mayo will swing and miss strike 2 on a fastball. 96 above the zone. Mayo just a little late on that one. So should Cowser reach after he comes up to bat, unless we have a double play here, would be Leody Taveras, unless we have a pinch hitter for some reason. But the 1-2 to Mayo is outside with a 4-seamer for ball 2. Would be funny to see the Orioles bat around the order. That'd be really funny. But I'm fine however this inning goes. They've done enough this game, the offense. I think 11's usually enough. Mayo takes strike 3 on a good slider there at the bottom corner of the zone. So he goes down looking. So good pitch there from Rodriguez. Had a couple outs now after a rough start to the inning. That was just starts at the top of the zone, breaks right down to the bottom. Mayo thought it might have broke a little bit more downer inside. Colton Cowser is up to bat, the lefty against the righty pitcher. Singled, or doubles last time was up, actually. I think, right? Pretty sure it was a double. Takes ball 1 upstairs. Oh no, he singled and then eventually got over to second. He singled on a changeup, though. It was whatever it was. That's why I don't keep a scorebook. So I probably should, but I also have to commentate. There's called strike. Cowser, I think, moved to challenge. I don't know if it was on the swing or not, but that was like well below the zone. Mr. Umpire has not had a great day behind home plate. I'm not going to lie. And again, this is with ABS, but still, there's some of these that you probably should just call correctly. It's not been great. The 1-1 to Cowser is chopped over the leaping attempt by Rodriguez, but the lob over to first base is not going to be in time. Everyone's going to be safe on the infield single from Colton Cowser. Andres Jimenez, I guess, just didn't get quite a good handle on it on the chopper that just went right over Gabriel Rodriguez's head. So it is a infield knock. Loads the bases with 2 outs for Leody Taveras, who's looking for his first hit of the game. Just chopped a little bit too high over Rodriguez, and Jimenez just with a really bad throw. I don't know what was going on there. Like, yeah, he had a chance to throw Colton Cowser out, just lobbed it kind of. So Taveras takes outside for ball 1. The Orioles with a chance here to add on even more. Anthony Nunez warming up in the bullpen for the Orioles as well. So he will get the 9th with a very, very comfortable lead. Be really cool, Kevin, if Taveras hits a grand slam here. And a favorable count. He's in a 2-0 count with that slider below the zone. That would be just the capper on this offensive explosion. But I'll take a hit here. You know, bases clearing double, that would be nice. But a grand slam would be cool too. Just completely suck the yard out of this building. So Taveras in the 2-0 count. We'll chop this one over instead to Kazuma Okamoto at third. And we'll be... Oh, no! Oh, it's a misplay! Oh, my goodness! Oh, no! I mean, yay! That's awesome. But that was a poor throw from Kazuma Okamoto at third base. Guerrero cannot field it cleanly. The ball goes by him to score for the Orioles. It is 13-3. That brings Cowser over to third base. Taveras reaches first on the error. And Okamoto just... Actually, honestly, that's more just on Vladdy more than anything. I mean, the throw is a little low. It skips in, but Vladdy's a gold glover at first base. He should make that pick 100% of the time and just missed it. So that is... the day is done for Yariel Rodriguez which is good news for the Orioles because they force the Blue Jays to burn another reliever. So a couple defensive miscues there for the Blue Jays with the Andres Jimenez lob throw that doesn't get Cowser out, and then the Okamoto Guerrero misplay. Not my guess is they're gonna give the error to Okamoto, but that is a play Guerrero should have 100%. That ball was well within his range from the camera angles I saw, and he just missed it. So Taveras reaches on the error. So not a hit, but it is reach base. So the 2 RBI infield error for Leody Taveras. I don't know if they're actually going to count that as RBIs, but it's it's runs scored nonetheless. Makes it 13-3. I don't know if they're actually going to put in a. You could with 10 runs now could put in a position player actually for both teams honestly, but will be Jackson Holliday up to bat. He's 1 for 4. The Orioles have now sent up all 9 in the order to bat. So should Jackson Holliday reach, the Orioles would, in fact, bat around. The Yankees' June swoon is here. Watching the highlights of the Anthony Volpe at bat against Aroldis Chapman. He just takes 3 straight fastballs. Just right down the middle 3 times in a row. That's crazy. So who is this? Tyler Heineman. The not an actual pitcher for the Blue Jays. He's a position player. Jackson Holliday's up to bat. Heineman, backup catcher, I think. Holliday's just going to smack this one right to second base. Just took a big whack at the Ephus pitch. Ernie Clement grabs it there. So the Orioles do strand 2, but it is a 10-run lead. 13 hits for the Orioles. Heineman, who is, I think he plays catcher, right? Where is he? Yeah, he plays catcher. Backup catcher, was a waiver claim from Boston back a couple years ago. Gets the 1 pitch, 1 out on Holliday. Just kind of swinging for the fences, on the lob pitch. But the Orioles have done their job here. Just need 3 outs, and hopefully they do not give up 10 runs in the 9th. That would be really, really bad. I would lose my mind. So I'm going to knock on wood real quick. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. It was Anthony Nunez warming in the bullpen. I don't know. I doubt the Orioles are going to put in a position player here because I don't think they want to risk it with, even if they have a 10-run lead, I don't think it's really worth it. I mean, maybe they put in someone else, but my guess is they're just going to roll with Nunez. So they got him warmed up, give him some innings. Should be, I think it's should be Yohendrick Pinango, Ernie Clement, and Jesus Sanchez, I believe. I'm 99% sure. So the Orioles Twitter is certainly having a good time after a great day on both sides, really. So apparently back on that Adley double that tied up the game back in the 6th when Gunnar was sliding home, Alonso's signaling for Gunnar to slide as they normally do for the next guy up in the batter circle, but Alonso's deciding to get the signal over by crouching on all 4s like an actual polar bear. It's just it's funny. Do love that. So Anthony Nunez on to pitch, 28 games so far, 5.28 ERA, 29 innings pitched, 1.31 something as the stats went away. The Orioles 5, 3, and 4 runs in the 6th, 8th, and 9th innings. They've put on a show here late in the game. Yohendrick Pinango takes strike 1. Fouled out and flew out his 2 times up, hitting 286. Those over 2 on the night. Next one is taken for strike 2 on a sweeper in the middle of the zone. Blaze Alexander is subbing in for Gunnar Henderson at shortstop, so Gunnar Henderson gets his well-earned rest after a nice day. More defensively than offensively, but has still done his duties. As Piñango grounds this one over off to the glove of Coby Mayo at third base, so that will be a hit. Mayo just shaded a little bit too far to the shortstop side as Piñango goes opposite there. So let's hope this is not a trend. But just a little unfortunate there. Coby Mayo just not quite in spot to get it. Just a single, though. Ernie Clement, who's 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts, is on to pitch. Nunez with a sweeper, four-seamer, changeup, sinker, and cutter. Loves the sweeper against righties. Throws the four-seamer and changeup a lot to lefties. Throws a sinker a good bit to righties as well. So see a lot of sweepers and changeups. Or sweepers and sinkers there. There's a cutter, though, which is the least used pitch. Thrown high for ball 1. So let's hope Nunez can have a decent performance here. There's ball 2 on a cutter above the zone. Interesting. So, all right, Nunez. Yeah, you have a big lead, but you don't need to use all of it. Let's just get the outs here. All right. 2-0 is in the zone, bottom of the zone. Nice sinker there for strike 1. Good pitch. So Brandon Young with a good outing today. Adley Rutschman with an amazing day at the plate. Also with a caught stealing as well as he picks that sweeper in the dirt for ball 3. So Nunez not a great start so far in a 3-1 count at the moment with the leadoff man on. Again, you can give up a run or two, but you don't really want to because that just doesn't feel great. Let's get some outs here, Nunez. The 3-1 is skied in the air. In play. Pete Alonso in foul territory by the first base coach's box will make out number 1. There we go. So Ernie Clement is 0 for 4 on the night. Brings up Jesus Sanchez, who is 1 for 3. Double play would end it here. Home run would only cut the lead to 8 as well. So not again, Orioles not in danger of losing this at all, but it's ain't over till it's over. Got to make 27 outs. So let's get another one here. Or 2 would be nice. First pitch is a strike with a cutter there at the top of the zone for strike 1. So a lot of cutters tonight so far for Anthony Nunez. Jesus Sanchez shaking his head. I don't know if he thought that was high or not, but that was well within the zone. Singled his last time he was up, but that was like back in the 7th inning, I think. Takes strike 2 on a sweeper right in the middle of the zone. Nodding at that one. Yep. He agrees that was in fact a strike. He probably should have swung the bat there then. Probably a smart idea. So 0-2 count here for Anthony Nunez against Jesus Sanchez. There is a changeup that skips in the dirt. No swing there. Ball 1. No steal attempt either from Yohendrick Piñango. So again, this was a 3-1 game not too long ago. It's now a 13-3 game in favor of the Orioles. They've scored 12 unanswered as Sanchez just barely gets a piece of that changeup to stay alive. But yeah, it's always nice when you can score 12 unanswered runs. It's pretty good, not gonna lie. That usually wins you games. I think that 9th inning might have broken the Blue Jays a little bit against the Orioles. They've struggled. 1-2 to Sanchez is well above the zone for ball 2. Again, they got to win tomorrow as well to really, secure things. Hopefully they haven't burned all of their offense. But this is a good start. This is a really good start for the Orioles in the series. Let's hope they can continue in after that. 2-2 now to Sanchez is knocked foul on the sweeper. So we will go again. So wouldn't mind this game to wrap up here in a second. I have editing to do. But hey, it's again, I'll take the 13 runs. Won't complain about that at all. 2-2 again is knocked foul again. Sanchez is battling here against Nunez. After that, it will be Kazuma Okamoto, who did have that gaff there in the top of the ninth to pour it on a little bit more. There, that gave the O's an extra 2 runs. 2-2 again is knocked high in the air, deep center field, but that will not get out of there. It will be caught by Leody Taveras in center. Pinyango has to range back to first base for a deep flyout for out number 2. So Okamoto, the last chance here for the Blue Jays to try and find some kind of improbable rally. Singled twice, did reach home in the 5th inning, but nothing more. Got stranded at third back in the 3rd inning. Takes strike 1 on a sweeper right in the middle of the zone. Not a lot of... It's an interesting looking sweeper there for Nunez as well. Might just be the perspective of the camera here, but it's like not a lot of horizontal movement, I think. It looks more like a slider than a sweeper, but I don't know. I just do what they tell me. Okamoto swings late on a fastball there. He's in a no-2 hole. So the Blue Jays down to their final strike. Tigers won 7-3 over the Mariners. Phillies won 8-6 over the White Sox. Just reading the ticker at the bottom. Red Sox 5-3 over the Yankees. That is, again, I love that score. 0-2 to Okamoto's outside, skipped away on a sweeper there for ball 1. Pinyango takes second with no attempt whatsoever. Braves won 6-3 over the Pirates. Again, doesn't really matter that Pinyango's over at second. That run does not kill you at all. They still need 9 more. So the 1-2 to Okamoto is swung and a miss. Strike 3 on a sweeper in the left-handed hitter's batter's box. Okamoto just wants to go home. Orioles win 13-3 as they open up the series against the Blue Jays with a bang. Adley Rutschman, 4 hits on the day and a walk as well. Home run, couple doubles, and a single. Brandon Young goes 6 1/3, gives up 3 runs, but a quality start nonetheless. The bullpen shuts it down after that between Wolfram, Cano, and Nunez. And almost everyone gets a hit. Really, the only issue is that Samuel Basallo went down with a abdominal strain. Hopefully that is nothing much in the end, though. But a very, 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 very good win for the Orioles as they are now only 2 games back of a 500 record here as we reach June. The Orioles are having a really good stretch of games as of late. See if they can continue this momentum moving forward. So for me, this stream is going to wrap up here in a sec. Sorry. Good slip of the tongue right there. We're going to wrap up in a sec. Next week will be more Final Fantasy VII. We're on to Chapter 9 there. So back over in we're over in Sector 6, actually. The Sector 6 slums there. Have to rescue Tifa for those who have played the game and are wondering where I am at the moment. But next Friday should be a matchup against the Padres, as after this series against the Blue Jays, the Orioles are going on a West Coast binge, so to speak, both at home and away, because they play after the Blue Jays game or series, they play the Mariners at home, then the Padres at home. One of those games will be on stream. Then after that, they're going to go across over to the West Coast to play the Mariners again, then the Dodgers, then the Angels. So a lot of West Coast, or AL and NL West action for the Orioles over the next couple weeks, which is a little dangerous because the NL West is pretty solid. They're playing all good teams there. The Mariners are good. Padres are good. The Dodgers are obviously really, really good. I mean, the Angels aren't. That's the one team that is not good. So it's definitely good to get the wins while they can around here, because they're gonna be facing some stiff competition coming up. Going to be seeing old friends in San Diego and Ramon Laureano and especially Manny Machado. But that will be for later. So yeah, next Friday, 7:05, so same start time as this one. That will be that stream. Had a ton of views this time around. My counter says 242 for total views, but I think that is even counting people just drop in for a second or two. But hey, this is, I think, the most concurrent views I ever had. I think I got it to 8 at one point, so I'll take it. Would like some more people outside of Kevin to comment. Not that I don't like you, Kevin, commenting. You have been incredibly fun. But would love some more, interaction between viewers. But hey, I'll take it. Anything's fun. That will wrap this one up here. To all of you watching, thank you very much. Hope you all have a good rest of the night. And yeah, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz and all that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Go O's.